Hello, everybody, and welcome to Casual Esports Amateur League Season 2 Noxian Division Finals for Team Renegatus versus Bronze 5 Age. I am Ansem571, hosted by Shadow, and I will have my my guest tonight. Yes, you are my guest.
I'm just here for the ride. Hey everyone, it's great to be here.
We're going to go ahead and run down the rosters. On the blue side for Game 1 is Bronze 5 Age, Cephas, Oninokin, Shadow, Prophet, and Psychopez.
And on the red side, we have Team Renegatus. Cyanite in the top lane, Randemonium in jungle, the Captain Goose in mid, King Majora in ADC, and Uncle's Alone Time in the support role.
Now, if any of those names do sound a little bit familiar, that is because both teams do have a tribunal member on them. Tonight, sorry, go ahead.
And I believe many of these players have been around for quite a while. Bronze 5 Age is perhaps as close as we have to legend in the Casual Esports Amateur League, having been around since before we were the league. So this is definitely a matchup where there's a lot of veteran players.
Yeah, and they are actually the returning champions from Season 1 of the Noxian Division, so it's good to see them back once again. But King Majora and friends are now going to be trying to dethrone them, and hopefully they get it done tonight.
King Majora's Team Renegatus did actually 2-0 Bronze 5 Age in the regular season. They played in Week 1. Team Renegatus actually went undefeated 12-0 in the regular season. So
that's hot.
Even though they're trying to take down the previous champions, I think that they have a lot of momentum coming into this matchup.
So wait, so they also went undefeated in their other playoff match as well?
Yes, they defeated Blood Oath Kings 2-0 in round 1.
Ooh, so they're going for the perfect season.
Yes.
Ooh, that will actually be a first for Seal, as no other team has been able to do it successfully. Yes.
Can Bronze 5 Age complete their promos and win, or can Team Renegatus complete the sweep? Even Cloud9 can't make the undefeated season happen.
Well, not anymore.
Yeah. TSM.
Why you gotta go there, man? Anyways, tonight we have Bronze 5 Age taking a more of a team fighty type of comp in Cho'Gath, Amumu, Vel'Koz, Kai'Sa, and Nami. And then Renegatus.
The other side, Team Renegatus is also running a team fight centric comp. We have Gnar in the top lane, Jungle Sejuani, Anivia mid, and then Kog'Maw Morgana in the bot lane duo.
So I kind of like both teams, but I do like Renegatus a little bit more, just because they have both engage and disengagement. In the sense of Anivia, you don't want to get past her ultimate and wall, and even if you do, there's Gnar and Sejuani there right to just plow everybody into the wall.
Yeah, I like Renegatus' composition a little better, and I think it's because both of these teams are really well set up to do front-to-back team fights, protecting the carries, but on Bronze 5 Age side, you have Kai'Sa, who has to kind of go in for maximum effectiveness. She's going to have to expose herself to a lot of the damage and CC from Renegatus, and if you're going to play a protect the carry comp, Cog is perhaps the ultimate carry to have. Renegatus has the Kog'Maw.
Especially when you consider that Kog'Maw with his W's range is extraordinarily large, whereas Kai'Sa's like a Lucian, basically.
Yeah, 550, I think. She's very average range for ADCs.
But I think we're going to go ahead and let the gameplay do the talking. So, Game 1 of Team Renegatus versus Bronze 5 Age. Let's get underway, Mr. Host.
Looking at the runes, mastery, summoner spells, I think it's all pretty standard. However, both of the carries on the side of Bronze 5 Age have taken cleanse, and Kog'Maw has taken cleanse. There's 3 cleanses in the game. Most of the carries recognizing that getting hit by any one form of CC in this matchup is likely to result in death because there's so much follow-up CC that you will not leave the CC chain before you see a gray screen. Anivia's running heal, but Captain Goose did take the unsealed spellbook. So he does have the option to switch to cleanse if he expects to go into a team fight where he might be, hit by an Amumu bandage toss or a Cho'Gath rupture. Also like to shout out to Randomonium showing off the Hextech Sejuani skin. I only need 4 more gemstones for it, but I am a little jealous.
I have 17 gemstones. I just don't have a champion I want to get a gemstone skin for.
Looking at the itemization, I think we see pretty standard stuff. The only thing is, I always prefer Corrupting Potion in top lane if I'm on a champion that can use it well, and Cho'Gath can. He's got a lot of sustain. The potion allows him to more effectively trade mana for health by using his spells to farm. And against a Gnar, who's really positioned well to bully the lane, I think that I might have preferred to have the CC. But Doran's Shield is a safe option, so...
Yeah, both teams. Actually, no. Amumu soloed out the chicken camp just a little bit faster. So,
and that is going to give some game knowledge advantage to Bronze 5H because they know that Sejuani started blue, got the lead from bot lane, but both of the side lanes.
Nice finding.
Both of the side lanes on Renegatus have to play as if Amumu could be there at any time because they won't know where he is because they don't know where he started.
They can probably take a solid guess as the chicken camp with for Amumu is pretty easy for him to do when he is solo.
I'm interested to see the build that Kaisa goes for. Manamune Ghostblade
is knock up on Gnar, but Gnar is trading top lane.
Yeah, at level 2, Gnar's already got the Hyper Crunch, I think is the name of the song, but he's got the 3-hit passive with the percent HP damage. So being in any kind of extended engagement for the Cho'Gath is not really where he wants to be.
Looking at it, it is just called Hyper.
Yeah, Hyper. Is it Wallop when it's in Mega form? Because I know it has a different name when he's big.
That is possibly.
Oh, 2 hard CCs land in the top lane.
Yes, it is known as Wallop in his Mega.
Yeah, and then Hop Crunch is the E.
Yep.
See, so Sejuani is taking the topside scuttle. Amumu is topside, having done his blue, but he's likely to wander into top river. Oh, have a brief disconnect, but given that pauses are skipped in replays, I assume that there was a pause there to allow for a reconnect.
Nice bubble, but unfortunately Kaisa can't follow it up as the earlier trade that happened with the Morgana.
There's an invade in the topside jungle. Gnar taking advantage of the lane pressure and the fact that Sej took the scuttle. They come in and take the Grom.
Yeah, there is a level discrepancy. Sej is level 4 now to the Amumu's 3, so it looks like with that Scuttle Camp, she is just that little bit ahead, even though they didn't get much in the jungle. Because otherwise the farm is the same.
Yeah, and since Amumu now has nothing to do on top side, he's pathing bot, likely to try for the bot scuttle. So you might see the junglers run into each other there, but he's doing the chicken camp again.
Okay, this is a little bit of the part where I get a little bit upset with my players. So it's 4.5, almost 5 minutes into the game. Look at all the zeros on players.
There's no wards going down.
And it's on both teams too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm liking the Sedge going for the early sweeper. You know, not a lot of junglers do that in lower elos, and I'm glad to see that he recognizes that that's just hugely powerful, especially against teams that don't like to ward early. Hint, hint, nod, nod.
And he did actually, he did the trick where you drop an early ward back, and then before the first camp, start with the sweeper. So he actually had already cleared a ward near mid lane. So that will be his second effective use of it to deny vision in the river.
Oh, Sejuani ganking bot. Sejuani
Flashes the bubble.
Misses the binding from Morgana with the flash. So that's 2 flashes for 1. Good trade for Bronze 5 Age to come out of that.
I also like Morgana's starting to run out of mana, even with the mana regen from Spell Thief's Edge. She is pretty mana intensive, especially if she's throwing a lot of bindings and W's out for poke. And so Nami is better both with able to keep her heals going and having more mana, is probably better positioned to keep the pressure on in this lane because she's got more mana to spend.
Yeah, and that's the thing about early game mage supports. They don't have a lot of mana to start. That's why 99% of them will go for the mana flow band. So Morgana at this point is just trying to land her W because it's the least costing ability onto these champions, just so that way she can fill it out faster than the Nami.
I think Amumu walked out of the brush there to look at Morgana menacingly and then walk back.
It's like, you don't really want this.
Another thing I noticed is Cho'Gath has already used his ult, presumably to eat a minion. I like the use of it to start stacking the health. You want to be tanky.
Oh, did land it onto the Kog'Maw. Does have to burn both summoners. A good hook on for the Amumu, or bandage toss.
And losing both of those is pretty significant because given that Nami, Psychopez, and Prophet are probably looking to back pretty soon, and they're pretty close to level 6.
Yeah, with that they can actually look for this dragon early. That's a great early game dragon, Ocean. That just makes your laning phase just so much nicer.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for this top lane Cho'Gath, who's not going to see any help.
No. Ooh, King Majora is very low.
Came over. Missed the bubble. Nami doesn't have her knock up yet.
She's gonna get the stun here.
She's gonna get the stun and does get the binding, and that'll be first blood down for the side of Team Renegatus for the Morgana. Seth is having difficulty staying connected to the game, so unfortunate for him. But he isn't suffering too badly. He is able to get back into the game.
Looking at mid lane, both mages are pretty even. Anivia is about to take her first back, I assume for tier. But they're essentially even on CS.
Kaisa just ticked over to 6. If she had waited... Oh, she just flashed over and went for it. Caught Kog'Maw shopping.
Yeah, that's one of the points where you're like, what shall I buy? And you don't notice your screen's flashing for taking damage until it's too late. Goose did pick up the blue buff, which on an Anivia is hugely important. I generally like to take the second blue in jungle. It helps a lot to get to level 6. But there's some mages like Anivia and Cassin where you really think long and hard about handing them that second blue buff because they just guzzle mana so fast.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's the question that I will pose to the Kaisa. What is she going to go for? Because I've seen, like, 90% of the time, they still go for the Monamune. But others have gone for Essence Reaver into Nashers. Which
I really like that build.
Yeah, so that gives you pretty much all of the stats that you need otherwise for both the attack and the attack speed, and you're just shy for the AP.
Yeah, and then once you finish Gwynsu's Rage Blade, you will get all 3.
Oh no, she got caught! Got a little too greedy with getting out some damage onto the Anivia there. Doesn't have flash or cleanse, you can't be that greedy.
Gnar TP's in to secure the dragon. I actually don't think he needed to TP there.
I think he TP'd there in the case of, oh, there may be a team fight, but that should have been on his team to say, hold the TP, we'll call you if we need you.
Yeah, particularly because you knew Cho'Gath was in top lane, and with the Nami dead,
either.
Yeah, with the Nami dead, you had the advantage, so you weren't really in danger of losing it, I think. So he's gonna have to walk back to top lane. Cho gets some free farm time.
So there's this little ward in the river that shows that they are in the pit. So top and mid are collapsing for both teams, but they're going to collapse for the Gnar. Gnar has to flash away before he gets nommed. And now they're going to be returning and do land a Q onto the Gnar for the Amumu. Sejuani has to flash over to try to save him. And Gnar does get the Mega Form to get out of there. Now Vel'Koz is getting run down. And now they're going to be able to turn and finish off this Cho'Gath once and for all for the 3-0 out.
Yeah, I think that all started with the fact that Sejuani was level 6 and Amumu wasn't. So she hits Vel'Koz with the Glacial Prison, and Vel'Koz is forced to immediately cleanse and then flash out. So he's not only out of the summoners and then vulnerable to being run down by the Anivia, but Amumu bandage tosses in on the Gnar, but Gnar's at 25% and Amumu doesn't have ultimate, so he's really not in a position to actually kill the Gnar.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that forcing it when they didn't have that big Curse of the Satin Mummy was probably a bad call from the side of Bronze 5 Age.
Yeah, and now they lost that first Rift Herald to the Sejuani, so now they're going to be able to push that. With plates still up, they can get a couple of extra plates off, maybe top lane to really pressure the Cho'Gath to being unable to perform much. She is hanging around the top side, so we'll have to see what she does with that Rift Herald.
Cho'Gath has Righteous Glory, but Gnar's already got his Boots 1, and with the 2 kills there, he's completed Black Cleaver, so he's very, very able to run down and shred this tank.
And Cho'Gath went for the Righteous Glory, no boots, so he's looking to charge in, not to run away.
Yeah, if I had had exactly enough gold, I probably would have finished it, but you really want those boots, because...
Yeah, like cause Gnar, yes, he does get movement speed from his W passive, but you need just that little bit to dodge the Q at least. Because if you can dodge the Q, you can still be like, okay, I'll take one hyper proc and then we go our separate ways.
Yeah, and in a way it expands Cho'Gath's safe range, because given how much Gnar is good at chasing tanks, if he's too far extended, he's just going to get run down by the Gnar. But with Boots 1, he could be a little farther out and still feel comfortable about getting back in time. Knock up on the Gnar. There's a roam coming in from the Vel'Koz.
Vel'Koz does get his W knockoff, and they're trying to burn down the Gnar before he can ult. And he does burn down. So that is a good trade kill. Cho'Gath actually got the nom onto him.
So that's a stack of health that is going to be above and beyond the 6 he'll get from minis and monsters.
Correct.
I could see what Gnar was thinking. He was trying to walk up to ult the Vel'Koz and stop the ult, because all that true damage really hurts. But he still took enough damage that he was left in execute range for the Cho'Gath ultimate.
And the Vel'Koz ultimate does slow you down just that little bit. I believe he lost his jump on the knock-up from Cho'Gath.
The Rupture.
Yeah.
Okay, for a second I thought the colors were showing a little wrong on my screen. I thought Sejuani had Blood Razor, and I was like, oh, what is this spicy technique? But no, given that it has a cooldown, that is Cinder Hulk. She's already got
the Bami's explosion that came in.
I like the Merc Treads coming out of Sejuani, and it looks like Gnar's building towards it. There's a lot of magic damage and a lot of CC on the side of Bronze 5 Age. So to be a frontline tank in this, you're going to really want what Merc Treads. I do like the Ninja Tabby for Cho'Gath and Amumu, because there's also a lot of CC on Renegatus, but you're afraid of getting shredded by the Gnar and the Kog'Maw, and you're going to get more defense against that from Ninja Tabby.
So here's another thing that I'm going to be looking at going into the mid game soon. So we have everybody's getting their first item completed. Oh, Morgana flash ults into them. Morgana doesn't have her binding anymore.
Doesn't have the shield.
She just lost her shield due to the Amumu just throwing it. And Sejuani whiffs the ultimate super hard. Kaisa does jump in, but is unable to continue as Anivia still has full health and mana.
Multiple members of Bronze 5 Age are so low there. but good use of flashes, cleanses, the disengage from the Nami ult means that Renegatus never manages to fully confirm the CC chain and lock someone down long enough for them to get the kill. And then Vel'Koz hits Sejuani over the wall with the Plasma Fission, follows up with the ult, and they've just lost 2 of their big CC machines, and probably this dragon.
Yeah, I think they lost this dragon. But as I was getting to, so now we have the first item completed for everybody. Now is the second item that I'm looking at, both the Kaisa and the Kog'Maw. What is Kaisa going to be building, and what is Kog'Maw going to be building? The correct answer, in my opinion, is Ginsu's for both of them. And that is because with Kog'Maw you get the double hit, and Kaisa you're able to finish off your passive for your Q. That is what it looks like for Kaisa, and with Kog'Maw, the other option that people would generally turn to is Hurricane. While yes, you do go for that, I say that you go for that third, because you need to be able to get your auto attacks to actually do something right now.
Yeah, I think the motivation I would see for Hurricane, I would assume that dagger is just to finish his Berserker's Greaves.
Yeah.
But I could see motivation for Hurricane if you expect a lot of team fighting in the near future before you could get to 3 items, and the AoE Blade of the Ruined King damage would do a lot, potentially more in a team fight versus the single target damage of Guinsoo's. But given that it's Kog'Maw and you're playing for late, I would guess it's going to be a Guinsoo's. They are Renegatus is doing swapping their lanes. They're rotating their top lane up to have them around this second Rift Herald. Did they use the first Rift Herald? I don't think they did.
I think that they did.
There's a lot of damage on top tower. Maybe they used it there.
It was either top or it was in the dive that happened bottom lane.
It's possible
Mumu misses his Q, but Morgana Qs him up, and now they're going to have to fight in this pit with Gnar already coming up.
Bronze 5H is not there. Gnar he's about 50% rage. He'll be able to
yeah, just keep autoing the Rift Heralds and then keep it at like 80-90%, so that way you can just be ready to go in.
Going Mega. But
he doesn't even wait for it. Oh no, Vel'Koz got hit up by the wall up. Cho'Gath is trying to keep him away from that. Cho'Gath unfortunately couldn't stop the Gnar from getting it. Amumu is trying to hold on for dear life, and now Sejuani also falls. Kaisa is going to get locked up by the Morgana and the Anivia. Anivia does take out the... Oh, she just barely lives! And now Anivia is on the wrong side of the fight. Now everybody's going to be turning to this Anivia and going to be able to take her out. Flash cleanse from the Vel'Koz. Vel'Koz is trying to get away from the fight while Cho'Gath is trying to hold the back line.
So I think both junglers and both supports go down in that fight.
And just about every other summoner, besides 1, maybe 2 flashes, Cho'Gath does flash in, but unfortunately the wall is going to keep him away. And with that, Anivia is going to walk away from this extended battle for the Rift.
I think what happened there was the bot lane from Bronze 5H, I think Psychopath and Prophet walk into a warded bush, eat an Anivia Frostbite into the Morgana ult, and Nami goes down. Kaisa barely manages to get out.
Yeah, with her
probably
ultimate.
Using the ultimate. They're moving back towards this Rift Herald.
So the bigger issue that I had in that fight, while yes, that was a travesty that the bottom lane for Bronze 5H got caught in that. Shadow decided to just stand right in front of the Mega Gnar and ult, thinking I just got to do damage. That's my entire life's purpose right now.
You got to make sure you're in a position to get the full channel out, but he is 3-1, so
yeah.
He got the kill in the Morgana, and I think he got both kills.
I think he at least got the Sejuani.
Yeah, I know he got the Morgana.
Nah, you gotta dodge those a little bit better, my dude. But the Morgana does have enough reaction time to shield herself from the Amumu Q. If he wanted to, I know that he wasn't, but I know that if he wanted to, he could have used his E to remove the shield and then ult her, and she would be stuck.
I was wondering if he was going to do that, but my guess is, given that she was full health and not too far from her tower, she was probably safe. Yes. I like what I'm seeing out of the Cho'Gath, because the typical Cho'Gath first two items in varying order are Righteous Glory and Abyssal Mask. Because Abyssal Mask gives you sustain, it gives you damage, it gives you health MR, but he's not building it. He's got a Spectre's Cowl probably for Adaptive Helm, which against an Anivia Kog'Maw is tremendously valuable. And it shows that he's not just sort of following the standard Cho'Gath build, he's really trying to build for the threats he's going to face, and maybe build Adaptive Helm later if he wants to.
And now we do see the bottom side. Bronze 5 Age is starting up this dragon, and this will be what the Drake's Soul will be wind. So it looks like they'll be taking that first soul, and Team Renegatus
Oh no, Cho'Gath!
Temporary gold. Morgana, you have to get your shield off for Kog'Maw. You have to let him live. Okay, no, now you need to. Oh god, you just got nommed.
Yeah, so she shields herself, but Kog doesn't
shot
blast
the
that
Q.
overall.
Sejuani did have to flash out of the knockup from Cho'Gath and the Kaisa, so that way she wouldn't get killed either.
I actually think that a Cloud Soul Bronze 5 Age is normally you don't think of Cloud Soul as being a win condition, but I think it absolutely is here, because Cho'Gath ult is a huge single target nuke, and unlike most ults, its cooldown doesn't scale with level. It's just a flat 80 seconds. So more.
And Amumu's is one of the longest ultimate cooldowns in the game. Oh, and does flash and get the Sejuani. Sejuani goes down. Amumu's going to follow shortly after with the Gnar. Nami unfortunately took too much turret aggro, and now the Gnar is mega'd and going to try to get everybody back into the tower, but unfortunately only gets the Cho'Gath.
I think at that point he dropped turret aggro as well. But yeah, Amumu's Curse Head Mummy, hugely impactful ultimate, really long cooldown. More CDR on that is huge. The Lifeform Disintegration Ray, the Tidal Wave, there's a lot of ults on Bronze 5 Age that benefit a massive amount from ult CDR. I do notice Amumu is building a ability power item. He's got the Amp Tome, I guess either Liandry's or Relays.
That's Liandry's.
Yeah. Normally, I feel like being full tank might be more useful here, but he's also one of the people on Bronze 5 Age who has the best potential access to Kog'Maw, and so having some damage to try to kill him, or at least get him low enough that Kaisa could ult in and finish him, might be a good idea. See, so Kog'Maw has his full Gwynsu's Rage Blade. He has elected not to finish Boots, and instead get the Rage Blade. Kaisa doesn't have Rage Blade but has Boots. I would guess, given that she's up on CS compared to Kog'Maw and has more assists, even though she only has one kill, that she's probably sitting on enough gold for Rage Blade. My guess, yep, she's just back to finish it. Let's see, so next objectives.
Hey, can you do me a favor, TTU?
Yeah.
Can you pronounce Crystal Scepter's name?
Relays Crystal Scepter.
Okay, thank you.
I know some people say it Rylai's, but I say it Relays.
It is pronounced Rylai's.
Okay.
I just needed that on record. Thank you.
Is it GIF or GIF?
Some people died with honor. Morgana does get the binding, and that, I believe, that completes her gold quests for her item.
No, she's still on Frostbang. That's not Shard of True Eyes yet. Actually, I'm gonna take back what I said about Cho'Gath. He built Spirit Visage. You do have
what? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you do have a healer. You've got the Nami, and your passive does heal you. However,
it's
Cho'Gath
not
passive,
that much.
Yeah, and it's a lane sustain passive. It's for last hitting. At max level, it heals, I think, 120 health.
Yeah, it's something really, really low considering.
And given that you have to kill a target in a big team fight, even if you got a Penta, it's 600 health. So I like Spirit Visage on Cho'Gath, but because it does give a lot of health. But in this case, I think this was definitely this is an adaptive health game.
It's even lower. It is 71.
71, okay. And then it's 35.5 mana.
3.5 to 7.75.
7.75. Okay.
Yeah, so non-existent basically.
Yeah, in a team fight, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like in a team fight, it doesn't matter. Even when you're just clearing a wave, it doesn't really.
Yeah. It basically it allows you to tank the minions and ignore their damage because you'll heal it up by the time you kill a minion. He also has he's got some mana out of adaptive out of the Righteous Glory.
Now, what is that chain vest?
My guess is Gargoyle Stoneplate. He's got the
yes,
he's got the stopwatch.
I build that on supports, but I forget that.
Which makes sense. If you're gonna go full tank Cho'Gath, and you don't want Warmogs here because
you better commit. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, with the Leandries, with the Haunting guys coming out of Anivia, there was a Nami wave, but I'm not really sure what that was for.
I think that was to catch out somebody. Ooh, does land the ultimate for Sejuani onto the Amumu, but Amumu, he's a tank. You don't want to go on that. He has Aftershock.
Vel'Koz is forced to flash, though. He flashes to dodge it, and it hits a Mumu. So he now no longer has that.
Oh, but now Anivia's in the top lane with Cho'Gath because, Anivia can actually wave clear, especially a lot better against a Cho'Gath, but is taking a lot of damage. Gnar is going to turn Mega, and he's not going to have that for the dragon fight unless if he just backs off and lets it happen.
Well, Goose is holding a teleport, so he can get here anytime he wants.
Yeah.
Which he's not channeling. Yeah. Cho'Gath's teleporting, but he's all going to be farther away. This is going to be gone by the time he gets here.
We got a contested dragon game.
Gnar flashes. Oh, good Amumu.
Amumu flash Q and goes and gets the ultimate off and does drop down several key members. Morgana's already down. I believe that's a Sejuani. Sejuani does fall down. Amumu is now taken out by the Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw's trying to kite out the Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath does not have his nom anymore, but he's trying to just...
One more auto!
Oh, he should have tried for the auto, but he couldn't get it out fast enough. And with that, it'll be a 4 deaths on the side of Bronze 5 Age for 3 on the side of Team Renegatus.
See, that started out looking like a really good fight in that Amumu got a huge bandage toss into Curse of the Sad Mummy.
Oh yeah, he got a 5-man ulti on that.
Yeah, but Morgana sees the Amumu coming and gets the black shield onto Kog'Maw first. So Kog'Maw manages to flash out of the wave of damage. And while they do split up Renegatus and a lot of their damage dealers go down, Morgana gets nommed. Kog'Maw is just free hitting from behind, and Vel'Koz goes down after burning his cleanse. Kai'Sa goes down, and while Cho does get the answering kill, he goes down too.
So I'm looking at items for, again, like this is the 80 versus 80 matchup that I'm looking at.
Mm-hmm.
They both went for the Ginsu second, which was good job, everybody. Yes, congrats. And now Kog'Maw has a recurve bow, which
that should be Wit's End.
Okay, that's Wit's End.
Yeah, it's
okay. That makes sense then. Okay.
Yeah, recurve bow, Negatron cloak, and another dagger, I believe, is Wit's End.
And then Kai'Sa, I don't know which Zeal item she's going to go for.
Yeah, at this point she hasn't committed because it would be a Turkish. Yeah, the dagger is everything. I would guess it's Runin's or maybe Phantom Dancer.
I think Phantom Dancer would be best.
I like Runin's because then you get to apply passive to everybody, but Phantom's definitely the safer option. And if Prophet is thinking that at some point he's going to 1v1 the Kog'Maw, having Phantom versus someone who doesn't have Phantom.
That's just that little bit extra.
Yep.
Oh, and went for Hurricane. Okay, then.
Hurricane.
All right.
I would there's not a lot of
able to proc the Baron, but with that, Anivia ulti is going to proc the Baron. He is taking a lot of damage. Morgana does land the binding, and so he does take half his health.
Yeah, he's gonna have
from
to
the
back
Baron.
out. There's not a lot of anti.
Oh wait, did he get a? Oh no, he got a plant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like just randomly, I saw his health just jump back up. It's like, you don't have.
Well, the plant health is increased by the Spirit Visage, so. There's not a lot of anti-heal on the side of Bronze 5 Age. You basically have the Morello out of out of Vel'Koz, and that's about it. And Psychopez's Ignite. And given that there's going to be 2 sustain items on the Kog'Maw, one of which, or actually both of which, will be double applying because the lifesteal from Bork does apply to its percent damage.
Yeah,
You're
but
gonna
it's
need
every.
something.
But with the Wits End, or with both rather, so Ginsu's is you get a double hit on every 3rd hit, I believe.
Yes.
So it's not as broken as back last season where it was every other hit, and it was just like Kog'Maw just super carries everything.
Did you ever play with the double Bork Kog'Maw? My team won a game with that.
I don't remember that. I remember Trinity Force Kog'Maw.
So for a few patches, Ornn's upgraded Blade of the Ruined King and the non-upgraded Bork counted as different items, and their percent passages stacked. 16% max health damage per auto multiplied by Gwynsu's.
Eek.
Yeah, as long as you finish
like
the first Bork.
That's like the black triple black cleaver.
Yeah,
Pantheon. Yeah, that was not a fun time. I gotta admit, that was not a fun preseason.
I did not play. I didn't play that. Do you remember there was a period where Zed?
We're in a little bit of a lull, everybody, because we're trying to posture around Baron. Gnar is set up to take on the Windrake to get their team to Soul Point. He is going to have to go to bot side. Amumu showed top. Gnar showed bot side. But the bigger problem is that Gnar, even if he were to TP right now, he wouldn't have the Mega for another 10 seconds. So here, they're able to clear out.
And ironically, the priority target in any Baron fight has to be the Cho'Gath, because Sejuani cannot outsmite the Cho'Gath beast.
Yeah, no, you can't. It's true damage where the base is now 1,000. Amumu does have to take these shots, or Cho'Gath has to take these long-range hits.
Oh, that's a good hit on the Kog'Maw. They forced the teleport out of Gnar. He's trying to build up courage in mid lane, but he might be exhausted. Okay, no, he is now building courage. But yeah, in a fighter on Baron, they have to make sure that Cho'Gath is either dead or peeled.
Is it courage? I thought it was rage.
It is rage. Because it's fury for some champions, it's rage for Gnar, and it's courage for Kled.
There you go.
Though according to the League Wiki, they're basically all the same.
Kled one trick, by the way.
For a while, if you pinged your secondary bars Kled, it would call it Rage, but it now correctly calls it
Cho'Gath, you're a little out of position there, but
he's gonna
does
eat
pop
Sedge.
Stone Plate. Sedge did get eaten, but he didn't die immediately to the feast. But with that, Cho'Gath lives and Sejuani doesn't. So now they have to contend with the fact that Amumu still has the bandage toss to engage and all of that good stuff that comes with it.
I think they just didn't account for how much damage a stone
Cho'Gath still has teleport. He can go into that pink ward. And it looks like he is going to go for it. Amumu goes and flashes onto the Anivia, but Anivia is able to flash away. Now Kog'Maw is able to flash and cleanse out of there. Amumu gets another Q onto them, and unfortunately, Kog'Maw is able to get the Ginsus to stack up high enough to just evaporate the Amumu's defenses.
Yeah, he was really chasing hard. Like, I believe the Kog'Maw was forced to flash over the wall. He does get hit by the bubble.
Yes, but they're not going to be able to turn, I believe. They're going to have Cho'Gath get this. Or Kai'Sa.
He didn't eat it, actually, yeah.
Yeah, he missed it.
It may have been on cooldown from trying to
get it was like a couple seconds remaining when they started it, so they probably just didn't want to risk it with the Sejuani coming over.
It down.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we're going to have it up in a second anyways. If she shows up, she shows up. And then we have it for her.
I'm going to take an issue here with Cephas's build, as Sejuani's forced to flash away. He's now working on Deadman's, and while I get that you want to be an initiator for your team and you need to
You already have a Righteous Glory.
You've already got a Righteous, and you have you don't have an adaptive helm for Kog'Maw's percent damage or all of Anivia's damage.
Or Thorn Mail to stop him from getting him a little bit lower attack speed and from...
You have no attack speed slows. Frozen Heart, Thorn Mail, even Randuin's... I mean, Thorn Mail would be better, but...
It's not like this is TFT where that builds into a red buff.
Yeah, like you are going to you're just going to get machine gunned down, and an attack speed slow is going to do so much to keep you alive for a few autos longer that Kog'Maw's now building crit, which I would assume would be runes, because it would be a cloak into Zeal. You ready for next season when they bring back Brawler's Gloves again?
Wait, they are?
No, I don't think so. But like they first they deleted it, then they brought it back, then they deleted it again.
Well, that was Negatron Cloak, actually, as well.
Yeah, they deleted Negatron Cloak, too.
Twice. But anyways, as we are back in this game,
Yes.
we do see that Kaisa actually built the Zonias to get the 4th item, and is pretty strong. Does have to cleanse out of the Sejuani ultimate. And with that, they're going to just reset and go, alright, okay, cool, that's down.
Normally... Oh,
but Amumu does get the binding to hit onto him.
that's a big Nami ult.
Nami does get the big ultimate. Vel'Koz does
Nivea goes down.
go down onto the Anivia. Shogath has to retreat. He doesn't have much health left. Sejuani is going to charge onto him, and Vel'Koz...
Prophet in the backline just
on the
solos down
backline,
King Majora
solos
and
down.
Morgana. Yeah,
And
triple
Prophet
kill.
is able to survive the Kog'Maw explosion. Now Nami is trying to keep the Cho'Gath as healthy as she can, and with that,
Quadra
they're
kill for
able to
Prophet.
take it.
See, I was actually thinking... Oh, go ahead.
That was a full 5-man ace for one Amumu.
Yeah. Like, normally you would see the trade of a Sejuani ult for Kai'Sa's Cleanse is a good trade. The Cleanse is a long cooldown. You already have 10% CDR on Sejuani plus a Windbreak.
But then
that
you
is such a
immediately
huge
take
team
another
fight
fight
ultimate.
after that.
Yeah, that was only a good trade if you wait until Glacial Prison is back up and the Cleanse
It's like
is not
60 seconds. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
60 seconds.
And
With
then
the Cloud Drake, I don't want to calculate that. I'm going to guess 60 seconds.
yeah. Well, let's see. Level 13, it's a level 2 ult, so it's going to be, I think, 100 seconds. 10% off for Winddrake is 90.
So 90. So a minute.
It's going to be like 82, I think, because it's multiplicative and not additive.
Yeah, so it's like, so it's about a minute
Yeah.
30 then. So.
And I think the key there was Anivia gets put into egg form almost immediately by the life form disintegration ray, which shuts her ult off. And so all of that glacial storm damage that the front line of Bronze 5A just gonna have to play through is gone. Prophet ults in the back line.
Amumu was looking for that Morgana. It's like, I can get her. It's like, no, we're pushing the lane.
Prophet ults in the back line, takes out the Morgana, solos the Kog'Maw, and then just picks up the Sejuani as she's trying to retreat.
Yeah, I completely lost track of the Vel'Koz for a moment. I know Kaisa went back there because I saw her ult back there. I was just like, wait, where'd Vel'Koz go?
I think he kited back into blue side jungle. And you can see the power of the Baron buff. Anivia, who normally just eviscerates minion waves.
And Nami actually got the Anivia to force her flash out.
Oh, that is very good, yeah.
Amumu's looking on the side, can flash Q onto any of them and just go.
Yeah, if you're at the thin part of that wall, I think he could Q to a minion and just immediately ult. And if they weren't paying attention, because Renegatus doesn't have that warded. Nar's split pushing in top lane, but the Cho'Gath is moving to answer. So I don't think they're going to get a tower. And let's see. Nar has TP. Cho is about to. Oh, the Anivia is real low. She's very low. She's going to have to... yeah, they give up the tower.
Yeah, this is not the one where you fight it. Prophet does get caught out. He's surrounded, but he is able to get the Gnar. And Amumu does get him trapped out, so he can't get out.
And a huge life form disintegration ray. Doesn't matter how much resist you have. That's a true damage ultimate there, Sejuani. That was really... I don't know if I'd call it luck or skill that the Gnar had passive stacks on him so that she could ult them. And they should be able to just pick up this dragon. They do. Well, that is the Air Soul.
If they're able to get any form of crowd control, that applies back of passive. So
yeah, my guess
somebody
is
probably was able to get something.
Yeah, and then really well played by Prophet to see that opportunity. and recognized that it was a way to ult out and to use the Zhonya's very effectively to, even after getting out of the Sedge stun, deny some of the follow-up damage. Oh. Black screen. There we go. Cog doesn't have his Runin yet. I assume he's going to have it real quick. He should have the gold. It's not very expensive once you... So Baron buff has worn off, so the Anivia can once again just keep waves out of the base. And given that they didn't manage to break an inhib, Bronze 5 Age secures something of a gold lead, about 2k, but the game has not tilted decisively in their favor. The Cloud Soul is big, but I think that a really good team fight from Renegatus, like, if they can win a team fight with Kog'Maw alive, they can easily crack Bronze 5 Age's base. Sedge has got, given what she's got, I would guess that is I guess that's an Abyssal Mask she's working on. Looks like Cho'Gath is working on, it would have to be an adaptive helm at this point, which is a good idea. They're just going to walk up, but that's a Cho'Gath with 5,000 health. He's not really worried about tanking power for any length of time. Sedge is going to get caught out here.
Yeah, now Nami has to flash away from the Gnar. He is getting a lot of sacks off on her. Is about to go Mega, is actually holding it until he decided to start attacking that ward, but now he's going to have no Mega for this upcoming fight. Mumu looks to go onto the Anivia. Anivia gets ulted onto by the Mumu and is now in the egg form. Gnar tries to save what little help she can, but unfortunately is not going to save her. Mumu does go down in the end. Kog'Maw does try to do some damage, but is unable to walk away. Oh my god, like a 1500 ultimate onto Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw is dead. Gnar is the only one remaining, and with that, they're going to get
the base.
Top lane.
This one is a little less valuable than other inhibs because it is on Baron's side, but any inhib is good because this means that now... Oh, they may be just looking to go for the end.
Cho'Gath has what? That's 2.5k, 2,000 now.
Yeah, and Nami's got enough mana to keep him going at least for a little bit.
He is going for the adaptive helm now.
Yes. Oh, Sejuani gets disintegrated.
Yeah, just disintegrated her. Gnar has to try to keep everything afloat for the next 10 to 15 seconds for the Kog'Maw and for the Anivia to come back up. Is trying to keep everybody dead, and is
Nami's
able to
go down, but
Nami is going to go down. Gnar goes down for his sins. Cho'Gath is going to flash away, so that way the Morgana couldn't stop him, and with that, Bronze 5 Age is going to go down.
Yeah, that was very well played by both teams. Like, I feel like both teams' team comps were working really well, but I think that the Mumu engages just were more effective than the Sejuani engage. Because Sejuani was either... Her ults were either flashed away from, or she's hitting people who have cleanse, or have Zhonya's, and Mumu, partially because the Sejuani ult is a single target stun, it's a big AoE slow, but she locks down one person, whereas Mumu can get 4 to 5 people with his ult. We saw him get a 5-man Curse of the Sad Mummy, and he's not... Morgana can't shield them all. He's getting somebody. Maybe a tank, but somebody's getting hard CC'd in there. And the follow-up CC is so good. The Vel'Koz, with 1 or 2 exceptions, was never pressured very hard, and he was doing a ton of damage in all of these team fights with the Lifeform Disintegration Ray.
Alright, with that, folks, we are going to go to a short commercial break. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with Game 2 of this exciting series. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We are now going into Game 2 of Team Renegatus versus... Team Renegatus put a strong fight to the end, but unfortunately it was not enough to stop the Cho'Gath from nom-nom-nomming the Kog'Maw to victory. And now we're going into Game 2. Bronze 5 Age, looking to run back a similar type of comp, but with a couple of little changes here and there.
So notably, Team Renegatus had side selection for first match. If you're not familiar with our setup, the higher seeded team, so Renegatus in this case, had side selection for game 1, 3, and if it goes to game 5, for game 5, Bronze 5 Age has side selection for games 2 and 4. So Renegatus chose red side on game 1, and Bronze 5 Age chose blue side for game 2. So they have chosen to stay with the same pick order, which I think makes sense. The Amumu did a lot of work for Bronze 5 Age, and it's no surprise they immediately go with the Amumu first pick.
And you know what else? We still have not had a single undefeated team yet due to that.
You're right. With Team Renegatus is no longer undefeated. Their first loss comes in the finals.
That's a rough one. But unfortunately, they didn't learn these kind of things that they needed to work on beforehand. Now they kind of got just go on the fly.
I do see some adaptation from Renegatus. They banned the Vel'Koz. Vel'Koz did very well for Bronze 5 Age. A lot of really safe damage output. And because his ult deals true damage and his passive deals true damage, he's really good at killing tanks. One thing I do notice is that Bronze 5 Age is just oozing with engage. You've got an Amumu, you've got a Leona, you've got a Cho'Gath who's probably going to run Righteous Glory, and all of them are being magnified by Orianna speed up and Sivir speed up. So if you exist in an open lane with Bronze 5 Age, they can, like, their engage range is basically a screen or more. But Team Renegatus feels more pick oriented. Their best engage would be like Braumult, but otherwise they're kind of dependent on a Veigar Cage catching someone or a Trundle Pillar catching someone. So I worry that they don't have the engage tools. And one thing I've seen in my games repeatedly is the team with the more reliable team fight is almost always in a stronger position. And if your team fights awkwardly, it can be a real struggle. They've certainly got the damage with the Veigar, Xayah, and Vladimir, and they've got the front line, but their ability to force a fight is a little trickier.
So, Mosar Triller, I know who you are. If it looks like they're playing a protect a somebody comp, it is because King Majora is ruthless in deciding that yes, I am the tribunal. You will protect me. Your life for me.
He's kind of like Farquaad from Shrek. Some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice I am willing to make.
No. Well, that's the correct line. Some of you will die. And that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
I do feel like Team Renegatus is well set up to punish bad engages. The Veigar Cage will stop Leona and Amumu. Cho'Gath not only cannot get out of the Veigar Cage, but probably can't really dodge anything in the cage because of how thick he is. And then with the Xayah Blade Caller is the Featherstorm into Blade Caller combo, the Braumult, Trundle siphoning the tank's stats, and Vladimir just doing all of his AoE damage.
And Vladimir can dodge some of that engagement with his pool.
If Bronze 5 Age misplays an engage or forces it too hard when they don't have all their tools in position, Team Renegatus is absolutely set up to crush that team fight. They've just got to kind of wait for it to come to them.
Let's done with this talking. Let's get into the game. Team Renegatus versus Bronze 5 Age. Round 2. Fight!
Looking at the the runes and masteries, mostly pretty standard, what you'd expect. Both ADCs are running cleanse again, which I think makes sense. There's a lot of
but the Braum is running heal this time, not ignite or exhaust.
I guess that kind of makes sense because with Braum Xayah, I feel like you're not. Zaya's a strong laner, but you're not really positioned to go aggressive like Leona is. And having the heal could do well to help protect the Zaya. We do see a Glacial Vagar, Phase Rush Vladimir, which makes sense to kite. I'm a little less favorable on the Grasp on Cho'Gath. Grasp is really good on Cho, but it's really hard to effectively use Grasp into a ranged matchup. Like, Vladimir with Phase Rush is just going to run away from you, or Pool, and Grasp excels in melee on melee matchups, especially on tank matchups where you can just kind of slap each other for health. But against a ranged matchup, I would have rather seen him take Comet. Because with Comet, Cho'Gath does have enough damage that at least in the early game, he has kill threat on the Vladimir.
Agreed.
See, both otherwise starting items all look pretty standard. Mumu and Ori have both taken the free stopwatches for Zhonya's, in the case of Orianna, and Gargoyle Stoneplate.
And this is the pre-reworked stopwatch, so it doesn't reduce cooldown for... So this one does reduce cooldown for Zhonya's, but does not get a faster time to activate per takedown.
Yes, but it also comes earlier. I think 10 minutes instead of 12.
Yes, this is 12 minutes now. But Orianna going on the aggressive early.
Didn't read the patch note, thinks he can still get the faster stopwatch. One thing I know is Oni Noken on the Amumu did not do what he did last time, where he did Raptor's leashless. This time he did get a leash from his bot lane and started the red buff. Cyanide getting a good trade in top, taking advantage of the fact that he hit level 2 and Cho'Gath had not. Let's see. Mumu just clears his entire bot jungle and moves topside. I think it makes sense. He, from the way he cleared, he was a little slower than the topside and risk losing camps. Oh, but Trundle is going for the blue buff.
Vladimir dodges the knockup from the Cho'Gath, is able to get a bunch of return damage, does Q, and Cho'Gath has to be a little bit more careful about that.
If he steps up very far, he's going to get pillared.
Yeah, Trundle is already looking. Trundle does get the pillar off. Cho'Gath still is holding on to that flash as long as he can. Bot lane, Leona does go in, does ignite early onto the Xayah. Xayah is forced to cleanse, or rather just chooses to. Didn't really have to. I think he was more afraid of there being an Amumu there.
Yeah, I will say, good on Cephas. He holds the flash and did not have to use it. When I saw the pillar come out, I expected him to have to flash, but he holds the summoner spell and doesn't die. So successfully repels the gank with a good knockup and silence. Mumu's actually ahead on CS compared to the Trundle. Trundle is doing top scuttle. Mumu is about to finish clearing his entire jungle. Oh, but Trundle's moving in. Trundle might find a Mumu on the Grom. He flashes for it. He pillars, but a Mumu answers with his own flash. So he'll just lose the... Oh no, he won't even lose the Grom. It resets... Yeah, Trundle doesn't do it. So, just a trade of flashes.
Yeah, Trundle's like, I don't trust this guy.
Well, I think Cho'Gath had just teleported in, and if he went too far, he would have been at risk of being collapsed on.
And also I think that it was because the Amumu had just now backed. Oh, does get the baby cage down onto the Orianna, get a lot of damage, but did get a W proc onto her, so that is one stack of AP.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to ask our producers to keep track of that stack as we get later on into the... For now, it's nominal at best.
Yeah, it's a few AP.
Yeah.
Let's see, so both top laners have already gotten their first backs off. However, Vladimir did not use teleport. So he still got that available. He does... Vladimir's more of a farming laner. He's really like a 2-item spike champion. He wants to get Proto Belt, maybe Spellbinder, or Death Cap, or a defensive item if he feels threatened. before he really starts team fighting.
So, for those of you boomer League of Legends players out there, there was a video that a YouTuber by the name of Sky Williams. He made a video called 5 Champions to Get You Out of Bronze, and Vladimir was one of those champions. And the reason for it is because you can just ignore the enemy champions and just keep sucking on the enemy, the minions. And whenever you had a gank coming around, you just W'd out of there because you play like a bitch.
Yep.
Because in order to get out, you go and play like a bitch.
That was less than like. You ain't going... Caitlyn, he's like, oh, I saw this Caitlyn in a montage, like, net forward and go for an ult. It's like, nope, you gonna play like a bitch.
You're gonna put those traps right in front of you, and you ain't going past that. I don't care how low that Sona was.
Now, so
does Leon actually get the heal out from the Braum. The Braum does try to return, does get a Q onto the Amumu. They're trying to get a stun onto him before he gets out, and he is unfortunately not able to get him locked out. But Prophet panics and uses both the cleanse and the flash to get away from the Veigar, who was about to rain death upon him.
So Renegatus, they invested both of their TPs right there, and so they're gonna take their reward of the air drag. But in return, they're gonna lose some farm on both their top and mid laner, who are now down 15 to 20 CS compared to their lane opponents. It's surprising no one goes down in that huge fight, but
yeah, they just said nope, scatter.
Scatter.
Team scatter. Team scatter. Team scatter. No, Scattercat is not endorsing us or is a part of this series. We apologize.
Cho'Gath is going to get a plate there. That's a nice 160 gold for him. One thing I'm noticing on the itemization is the recurve bow on Trundle, which means it's a Blood Razor. So Trundle is really good at killing tanks. Blood Razor is good at killing tanks. It seems good.
It seems overkill.
It seems overkill, and the issue in my experience with both Warrior and Blood Razor Trundle is that when he's not ulting someone, Trundle is not naturally tanky. He has healing when things die around him, which is amplified by his W, Frozen Terrain, I believe, and he does have Conquer, but a non-Cinderhulk Trundle is just not very tanky.
Mm-hmm.
And given that Vlad is a pseudo frontliner with healing, and your other frontliner is a Braum who's working on his.
Oh, Vladimir actually drops his ultimate onto the Cho'Gath. The Cho'Gath is going to take a little bit of damage, as Vladimir only has a right now.
Yeah, I think it was probably there to stop Cho'Gath from trying to combo him, but it does turn the HP differential back in Vlad's favor. But with Catalyst of Eons, Cho is not really under a lot of threat in this lane.
And a null mantle, so he takes even less. Cho'Gath is looking for it. He's got the grasp this game around, so he's getting that to go off a lot. Orianna is chasing down this Trundle. Trundle got slowed by the ball, and now they're all collapsing, and Trundle is able to get away, but now Cho'Gath is trying to find a way to get out.
He gets caught by the
the Amumu does flash bandage toss, and it's not able to get to the ultimate of Orianna. Still in this game where it isn't slowing down much. Both teams are still at 0-0, but now they're going to see that the Veigar is here. They do get the knock-up, and it looks like the Leona is probably going to be the one to go down. She does try to get the snare, and does, but it doesn't matter because that's not a stun, and Veigar gets the kill onto the Severe. I didn't see who it was that got the first blood, but
Veigar got the first blood, so he gets the extra 100 gold now.
So he got the extra gold, and he still gave, or still got an assist and gave an assist to the other kills. So that is a huge swing of gold. And wait a minute.
Okay, so gold.
Yeah, but wait, they got first blood and effectively a double kill, where everybody got assists, and they're still down 400 gold.
Because look at the
CS. They got the plates.
The double TP means that Cephas and Shadow are both 20 CS up on their lane opponents. 2 plates went down to the Orianna.
Happy feet.
and one plate went down to the Cho'Gath.
Mhm.
So they're actually sitting on a pretty fair amount of gold compared to their lane opponents. It's just that the bottom lane for Renegatus is ahead. Oh, curse the sad mummy onto the Veigar, and he goes boom.
Go boo boom.
I think
he probably could have actually let the Orianna get that, and just maybe like the, oh, what is it? The Aftershock accidentally get that?
Oh, is he gonna get this kill? Joe
is trying to look for it,
knock-up.
but he's got the knock up, and that'll be death.
First tower goes to Bronze 5 Age. I feel so. I'd like to point out, for those of you who may not play top lane and don't understand how it is a hooligans lane played by gentlemen, Cho'Gath.
I agree.
Yes, mid lane is a gentleman's lane played by hooligans. Top lane is a hooligans lane played by gentlemen. Cho'Gath did not leave lane in between those two Vladimir ults, and his health didn't really change that much. He was Vladimir ulted, stayed in lane long enough for it to come up off cooldown, was ulted again, and then still got the fight. That's how much sustain that a Cho'Gath would have with Beyond Brains.
Yeah, and the Vladimir actually TP'd down for the dragon earlier on. That was from a fight that had like no kills result in the fight, but still got the dragon. But actually, that 10% CDR is really good for.
Yeah, so he's got the components of Hextech Proto Belt, and that's a cheap item, so he should have it quite soon. But Cho'Gath does have his Abyssal Mask now, so he is both threatening, and he's not really in danger from the Vlad. Sivir burns the ult as they're posturing around Dragon.
No, she doesn't.
No, she used her ult. Did she?
No, it's still on. It's still on.
Well, for some reason I saw an animation.
Oh, but the Cho'Gath does interrupt the Vladimir from getting his ult, or from getting the TP off. Amumu needs to do something to get his Aftershock off, and is just going to drop to the Veigar. Now Cho'Gath is trying to TP into the fight, and is going to be taking down the Randomonium. Randomonium goes down in the fight, everybody else is scattering. Vladimir has to stay top lane because he had his teleport cancelled.
Randomonium flashes in there, but he's going to go down. And blue team confirms the dragon. Cho'Gath eats that.
Yep, and that is one extra stack for free that he doesn't have to...
Above and beyond minion and monster stacks.
Well, the monsters are infinite, but yes.
No, non-epic monsters count against the minion stacks.
Oh, I apologize.
Yeah, they look for a pick on King Majora, but he's able to get out of that. Oni Noken does go down pretty quick, I think, before he's able to get his ult off, but the Trundle goes down just as fast despite having used his ult, because if you look at his itemization, it's a mix of maybe it's Blade of the Ruined King, maybe I think it's Blood Razor into Ravenous Hydra.
Yeah, I was just pointed out from the chat as well. The Trundle is just skipping his jungle item altogether. He doesn't have a smite to use on anybody.
No, he's just got the standard smite on monsters, whereas the Mumu does have the blue smite.
And he has already completed the Cinderhulk too.
Yeah,
That's just a product of him being ahead, but
yeah, but I'm not a fan of this this build for Trundle because it's going to leave him extremely squishy. Like, it's a great build if he's 1v1ing a Mumu or Leona in the lane, and they're far enough from a tower.
Or Cho'Gath.
Cho'Gath will probably just eat him. He doesn't have that much health. He's level 7 compared to the level 10 Cho.
But it's more so about the AP that he takes, or the MR that he takes away. Amumu does get the ultimate. He has to nom onto the Amumu so that way he can survive. But a Leona,
Psychopez, American Sniper,
Solar Flare, and now King Majora is trying to run away from the Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath doesn't have his flash. He already used it, and they're going to be able to get onto tower. But there's a pretty sizable wave, so they're going to look for it. King Majora is going to have to use his ultimate and try to be a god and get out of this, and he is able to survive just barely.
But Ungo's alone time does go down, having burned his flash a little earlier. Veigar's down in bot lane. He's trying to play cleanup crew here.
And Orianna tried to get a cheeky kill onto the Vladimir.
Good knockup. Yeah, good knockup saves the Cho'Gath. Okay, so he's got the Bilgewater Cutlass and a Recruit Bow, so it is Blade of the Ruined King. I don't know what the Rejuvenation Beads are. My guess would be some kind of Tiamat item then.
Ravenous.
Yeah,
Oh,
probably.
Tiamat. But he went for a Bilgewater. He's going Borg first.
Yeah, he's going Borg first, definitely.
What are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
I do not consent to this.
It's a really good build for if you want to 1v1 a tank, but it feels very solo queue,
Yeah,
where you might like find a tank alone and just slap them to death. But like in a situation like this where there's enough coordinated play, people aren't going to be alone and disorganized enough for that. One thing, looking at other itemization, both mid laners have completed their Lost Chapter item, but despite going for the more expensive one, Ori's actually ahead, already having another Blasting Wand after Luden's, because she's about 30 CS up, and has first tower with all of its plates. Also, Vladimir has gone Merc Treads and not CDR boots or Pen boots, so he is sacrificing some damage in return for a little more safety from the CC chain. Overall, it's about a 3,500 gold lead for Bronze 5 Age. Cho'Gath's hanging around bot. It seems like he's deputized other people to go deal with the Vladimir, which, I mean, this is the point where a tank like dive in the bot lane.
They are going to take that down with the Cho'Gath already feasted, so he's not going to get any sack from this. And now Leona is a little bit stuck there. Cho'Gath does, or Sivir actually does take out the Saya, and Vhagar just gets blasted as he's coming out of that TP.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. And Vladimir looking to get something back.
Flashes the Zhonya's stopwatch from the Orianna, saves him, and is able to walk away. Now,
Lumu's going in, but I don't know if he's got the damage here. Oh, but he's got friends coming.
He's got allies going. Cho'Gath does try to get a knockup, but is unable to get it just out of range. Does try to stop the Trundle from getting away, but both of them will escape with their lives.
So notably, Vlad flashed in to try to get the Orianna. Trundle flashed out to avoid the knockup, and he's just doing Raptors while Bronze 5 Age go for this first Infernal. And I think this must feel like this must feel really good for Bronze 5 Age to get this Infernal, because one, denying it from a scaler like a Vhagar and a Vladimir is really important, but it also means that your carries can sort of match that scaling with extra raw damage.
Yeah, because now we're all at the part where everybody has a first completed item, except for supports maybe. Leona went for the Knight's Vow, which is a little bit cheaper, and she didn't get tier 2 boots. Whereas Braum is going for the Gargoyles, which is about, I think it was 400 gold more expensive than Gargoyles. Plus he went for boots, so that's another 800 gold.
I think Knight's Vow I mean, Stoneplate is very good for sort of pseudo tankiness, but Knight's Vow gives you CDR, which I always appreciate on a tank, and you've got two carries, particularly the Sivir, that you want to protect.
Oh, but hold up, we got a fight brewing in for top side. Amumu does have to flash out from Braum's ultimate, and now they're going to be looking to try to maybe re-engage. Vhagar Cage does take out the Amumu with the ultimate Primordial Burst. And now they're going to be able to finish off that Rift Herald just before Baron spawns in just a couple of seconds.
So they did, yes, Trundle picked up that Rift Herald. So Trundle is working on his completed jungle item. He has the Stalker's Blade. He doesn't have tier 2 boots though, so no defense. He's really just got some damage and attack speed. Amumu is working on what looks to be an Abyssal Mask, which I think I like here. Unlike in the previous game, you don't have characters where Adaptive Helm is as key, and you have a lot of magic on damage in your team that the Abyssal Mask will amplify very effectively.
Yeah, and he's going for the Righteous Glory now. So now you have to contend with the fact that there's a Cho'Gath running you, not just with the Sivir ult, but also with a Righteous Glory.
Mm-hmm.
You better hope that Trundle has some sort of sustain, because he's going to have to be the one in front of that.
Yeah, or has Pillar available to deny it. I know you'll be pleased with Psychopath. He's got the Mobies on the Leona, and he's now working on what I would guess is the Gargoyle Stoneblade.
So this is also pre-nerf Mobies. So this is
True.
the 600 gold Mobies, not the 700. And as a support main, you feel that extra 100 gold. Vladimir has to try to dodge around this Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath is taking absolutely no damage, and the Vladimir ult's already gone. And now Cho'Gath still can turn this around. Does get the knock-up, does get a silence, and is trying to slow down the Vladimir. Vladimir still trying to fight this somehow.
He's got the third Q coming up, and he's just used there. But he gets hit by the knock-up.
Now Braum is in to save the day. Braum is trying to keep him alive as best as he can. Vladimir is able to get away from that.
Yeah, with the Braum concussive blow stun shows like I'm not sure.
Plus the Guardian proc. Because for those of you who don't know, because not a lot of us do take it, Guardian, while it also gives you a shield,
20% movement speed.
Yep, a decaying movement speed.
But that extra little burst helps Vlad open up the range. Alright, Pillar comes down on Leona.
Severe actually just barely didn't get trapped by that Pillar. That's one of those spots where it's like, oh god, you almost got dismantled. But if Mumu tried to go in, Orianna whiffs her. And now Orianna is going to get taken down by Randomonium. Now everybody's trapped in the cage and is unable to walk away. They are able to take out the Trundle. And with Cho'Gath no longer having his ultimate, this is no longer going to be a fight that they can win. Severe ulted to just try to get him away, but is unable to walk away fast enough. Severe actually was able to live just long enough.
And two go down to the tower.
Oh, what?
Braum dies to the tower, and King Majora walks into range, not realizing how much the tower is heated up. And Vlad just goes down?
Just get popped too. Now they can turn it around because Veigar.
Prophet's on the hunt. He's looking for it.
He doesn't have ultimate, but he does have a boomerang, and it just barely misses him.
If there'd been a minion wave, he could have W'd the wave, and if the bounce had hit Veigar, the extra movement speed might have let him catch him. But I think the Trundle pick there works kind of as you intended to. He steals the stats from the Leona, which gives him enough pseudo-tankiness to frontline for a while. And Amumu and Leona get caught within the Veigar cage, so the counter engage works. But then they just chase too far. Braum goes down to the tower. Majora doesn't realize how much the tower is heated up, and one hit takes like 300 health off him. And Braum's 5-8 are setting up for this dragon.
I'm putting Leona down as the MVP for this game. Not only because she's, been tanking the front line where she can with the Amumu, but she is the only person with anti-healing as of 24 minutes into the game now.
Against a Vladimir and a Trundle with
an Ignite and Bramble Vest.
Though I would point out that Orianna, honorable mention, she's built. There's a fight in bot lane.
She is going for the Morellos, but doesn't have it quite yet. Leona has to flash over the cage to get out. Now the turnaround comes around. Orianna does get the shockwave. The Vladimir does get his stopwatch to go off, but is unable to live much longer.
Flashes out, so he's
over
gonna
the
escape.
wall. He's just barely going to escape. Leona is still looking around, seeing if he can find him. This is the part where you ask for Karthus to ult, because that's double kill almost right there with both King Majora and Cyanite in the Xayah and Vladimir's respectively going so low. And Cho'Gath, why aren't you tanking this? Your carries are trying to take the tower.
One thing I would point out there is they did get Bronze 5H did get the tower, not Bronze 5H, Renegatus did get the tower with the Rift Herald. It gets the charge off as the fight's breaking out, so they do get a little gold into all of their pockets, 250, but they're still down 6,500 gold.
I am being pointed out by our jungler and Oni Nokin that Severe actually picked up an Executioner's just before that fight. So thank you, Prophet.
Yes, and Orianna, as we mentioned, is working the Morello Nomicon. So I think that Bronze 5H has realized like we need anti-heal because Vlad working on his Zhonya's, which gives him safety, but it's going to delay his spike. But once Vlad gets to third item, he's going to heal a massive amount. Trundle has his Bork, he's got his Cinder Hulk, So he's
Finally.
healing a fair bit.
Finally. I'm still upset about him, but about that.
Yeah.
But because of that, Braum did go with the gargoyles, so he was the front line until Trundle can get going again.
He looks like he's working on Knight's Vow as well here.
Yes.
Yeah. So Amumu's just finished his Abyssal. He's picked up a cloth armor and a stopwatch, which could be for. There's a Bramble Vest on Cho and a cloth armor on Amumu, which I'm hoping is going to be for Bramble as well. So Bronze 5A just rapidly itemizing into anti-heal, which is really going to make the job of Vlad much harder. Oh, Psychopez is caught. But he gets a huge ult down and forces the cleanse out of King Majora. I think he's going to go down here. Yep, he goes down to the Trundle.
Amumu does get the ultimate off, so they can't keep chasing into them. But Amumu, just barely stopwatches before the Veigar connects, and they're actually going to be able to chase him down with the Cho'Gath. Vladimir is able to go down as well, and that final Q at the very edge is going to knock up and take him out. And as a question that was asked by our viewers, was Braum Uncle's Alone Time counterpicked or banned out in draft? So in draft, they banned out both Tarek and Nautilus against the Braum, so that's Corona. Was left to.
Let's see.
Stay safe out there, kids. It's a deadly virus.
So I'm looking. Yeah. So they did target ban Uncle's Alone Time. I think the Braum has worked fairly well. I think part of the issue with the Braum is that the Veigar is doing well, but the Vlad's kind of behind. And so I think their team comp was kind of counting on Vlad just like rolling into the back line and like two-shotting someone. And Vlad with the Protobelt, Hourglass, and Mercrez, he just doesn't have the damage at this point. He's going to need at least another item for his death cap, and that's, 3,600 gold. So that's a lot of money to get, especially when you're facing a team that has Baron buff, and you're facing a team that has a lot of anti-heal for you to slog through.
So,
I wonder what King Major is building. He's got 2 long swords. That would either be Last Whisper or maybe 4. I'd guess Last Whisper.
So since he went lethal tempo, that means he went for the bloodline to get his life steal. He should have that now, which is like what, 12% I think it is.
Fully stacked is 12%. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's like I got you, Sivir. Oh wait, never mind.
Yep, just old Cage walk through it. Thanks for the mana, buddy.
It's not an ultimate, it's an E.
Man, I miss 40% CDR Sivir because it puts your spell shield on a 6-second cooldown.
Yeah.
So that is Infernal Soul.
The best Sivir ults Sivir spell shields that I've ever gotten when I played AD carry was on Rammus when he's going for the taunt.
Mm-hmm.
And I have gotten to ignore it, as well as with Wukong's decoy to bait out a bunch of like single target ultimates like Malzahar, Cho'Gath, like a bunch of different ultimates that just are like no.
So Bronze 5 Age, they cracked the inhibitor. They've got Baron. I think they're looking for the end here. Vlad's kind of split pushing, but I'm not sure.
Whips the Ori ball. Cho'Gath is taking a lot of damage. He's going low. He's got to get out of there.
But he does
get the ultimate off. Veigar just
Leona goes
one
down.
taps.
It's Prophet versus the world here. Vlad's back.
Prophet's trying. Vlad's
Prophet
back.
gets it. He's going for the Penta. Penta kill!
Oh, he's got it! Oh!
And then he
Pentakill!
dies.
Alright, hold up. I have promised everybody that if I ever have a pentakill on stream, I will gift a sub. So just give me 1 second. So let me gift a subscription.
So Renegatus is now Renegatus is now clearing out their base, but things look pretty bad. They've lost one of their Nexus turrets, they've lost their mid lane inhibitor turret, so that inhibitor is exposed, and of course the bot inhib. The enemy team has Infernal Soul, so I feel like this is probably where you start thinking, all right, what do we do next game? I feel like
you need to get rid of the Amumu.
you've got to get rid of the Amumu, and I think it might be worth getting rid of the Cho'Gath, because Cephas is 6-0-11, and you've drafted 2 top laners that should beat the Cho'Gath. Gnar excels against high HP, low mobility tanks. Vladimir is good against tanks because they have trouble killing him, and he can just farm against them and out-sustain them. But, like, both games, Cephas has done well, and in this game is 6-0-11. I mean, Prophet's 12-2. Let's not, like, pretend like people aren't doing well across Bronze 5H. But, like, you haven't shut the Cho'Gath down, and this is a pick that's going to do really well in team fights if it's not really shut down. So either ban the Cho, or you've got to find something that Cyanite plays that's going to beat this. Maybe Cyanite plays Trundle. Trundle top is underrated. Against tanks, it is very set. Oh yeah, I was like, look at all these. Last game, I was thinking, look at all these stone plates, and there's no set in the game. Let's see. So they're going for the top inhib. They're trying to triple in here. They did lose. Right.
And the free gift sub goes to Scrambles. Congratulations. You have gotten the free tier 1 sub from us. That is from Ansem571, and don't you forget it.
So, looking at the board, there are a few good points for Renegatus. Both of their mages have completed Void Staff. That is really good for Vlad. Notably, Veigar does not have Death Cap. And he's not building it. He's got a Fiendish Codex, which I assume is for Zhonya's.
Or Banshees,
Yeah, Banshees would also be a good pick here. Either one I think fine. But, like, he doesn't have the raw AP, and he's contending against an Orianna who just finished her Death Cap and has 3 Infernal Drags. That's 12% extra AD and AP. Sivir's at 75% crit. Has her full Last Whisper, is building full crit with, I would assume, the Shiv or the Wrathfire cannon, and they're gonna get this. They're gonna get this Baron. Cho'Gath should be able to eat this, no problem. Braum throws Zolt in, but that's secured for Bronze 5H. So yeah, they're 10,000 gold ahead. This should be unless Vlad's in the back line.
Just kind of walks in there. That is not a great idea, bud.
You can't dodge CC if you're silenced.
With the Veigar cage, they are going to be able to walk away, hopefully.
No, he gets
going down too.
Or he's going to TP in.
Oh, and Cho'Gath and Ori TP'd in already, so that will be game 2 for Bronze 5AH. Team Renegatus has to step it up to keep it a series. But with that, congratulations, Bronze 5Age. You are now 1 game from being the return champions.
They will be three-time champions if they win this next game.
Three-time
champion, yes. So we talked a little before. What do we want to see different for?
What do you mean 3-time champions? They didn't win They didn't win season 0.
Oh, sorry. Didn't Bronze 5Age win 2 seasons previously?
No, they won season 1.
Okay, so they're going for 2. Oh, one of their players, Prophet. Prophet is going for 3 seasons.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
All right. So with that, we're going to take a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back and hope for another pentakill.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Due to technical issues, we are now back and ready for the hopefully not the climactic end to Team Renegatus's run for the perfect season.
Yeah, they can still claim to be. They may not be undefeated in terms of games, but if they can start to turn this around, they can at least claim to have won their matches overall. But their final lives are on the line here. It's 2-0 to Bronze 5H, so they're on match point.
Yes.
And Team Renegatus has switched things up. They've switched to blue side this time instead of red. They took the Cho'Gath for themselves.
They actually got Tarek for Uncle's Alone Time. So a little bit more of a comfortable pick, and you'll see that Vayne was actually banned out for Bronze 5H.
This is because... Oh, go ahead.
Now, for those of you who know, the Prophet is Vayne extraordinaire, may or may not have once upon a time been accused of smurfing by playing Vayne against somebody in her league, but that is besides the point. The point is, the Vayne was banned because of Cyanite having a pretty solid idea of how to play Vayne top, and with playing Super Tank Cho'Gath, that was not a good idea for them to pick into.
Which Team Renegatus responded to by first picking the Cho'Gath. Another thing to note is that Cyanite and the Captain Goose, the top and mid laners for Renegatus, have role swapped for this game. So Goose will be taking the Maokai into top lane, and Cyanite will be playing the Xerath in mid lane. You can be my mid laner anytime. Bullshit, you can be mine.
But with that said, let's get on in there. Mr. Host, let's wrap it up. Game 3, Bronze 5H, can they do the 3-0 sweep? Or will this be a 5-game series?
So, stream says it's offline. There we go.
There it goes. There we go.
There we go.
That, folks.
We're back.
Had to chrono break. We had to chrono break the system. It looks like we are up and live on Twitch again, so we apologize for the delays. We did go back to 2 minutes in, and Tarek automatically does get the stun off onto the Kaisa. They're going to probably look to go back in again, as we saw before, but it looks like they're going to be just going, okay, we don't want to fight. No, Mr. Mordekaiser, please stop being level 2 already.
Yep, that's kind of how we expect the lane to go.
Oh, Tarek does get the stun onto the Kaisa, does try to get the exhaust off, but Cleanse is going to get that right off, and Callista does rend her, to drop her down to about 100 HP.
I think that was probably a needed cleanse, because if Callista had gotten 1 or 2 more autos off while she was slowed, the rend probably would have been a kill, and that would have been first blood. I think we're seeing a lot of trading in top lane, but this is about what we expect to happen. Mord has a lot of base damages, he's very good at tanks because he has repeated percent damage on his passive, Darkness Rise. And Maokai does not have a very strong lane phase.
So I haven't played top lane in a while, so if you, please forgive me if I do not know. So I know that Maokai's passive does proc off of enemy spells
Yes.
and his own. Does it proc off of Mordekaiser's passive?
So, I believe, so I having not played the matchup much, because if I see a Mord, I'm not picking Maokai into it.
Fair.
My guess is that it probably works similar to Conqueror. So damage over time effects, like Mordekaiser's passive, do gain Conqueror stacks when first applied, but they only give you Conqueror stacks like once.
Instance.
Well, it's like once every 5 seconds, I believe. So I think it won't work for Maokai, because I know that being affected by Teemo's poison dot does not count for Maokai. But the Death Grasp grab and the Obliterate Smash both will. So that's 8 seconds off Maokai's passive total.
I remember when Maokai's passive could proc on turrets. That was that was not a fun time for anybody.
So aside from top lane, slight CS leads in mid and bot for Team Renegatus. Xerath certainly has the poke advantage over Orianna. He's longer range than she is.
Yeah, Cho'Gath is down one camp, but he also hasn't backed yet, whereas the Amumu has. So Amumu getting a little bit better of clear time, as he does have a lot of AoE early.
Yeah, Cho's not really going to have to back very often because of his passive sustain, so only really when he wants to buy. I don't know if you've ever tried Orange Jungle, but what you do is you used to buy Hunter's Potion back when it existed, but you start Talisman and a refillable potion, and then you just never back because you just build items. You just build your jungle item while you're in the field, and you have so much sustain that you just stay out there, keep chugging. Only go back and need wards because Orange can't build wards. As the developer said, he is a blacksmith, not an alchemist, so he cannot build consumables.
That's acceptable, I guess. Tarek misses his stun, so Kaisa can go back onto the offensive. But she does have to be careful. There is a Cho'Gath already sitting there. Amumu just runs straight into him.
And he gets first blooded.
The Xerath ultimate does go down. Ori
from
does not
downtown.
have enough. Ori does not have enough mana. This is where Biscuits, everybody, Biscuits, comes in handy.
That's interesting. Yeah, Ori doesn't have biscuits, and she didn't take the free stopwatch. It's possible she took like free boots and cosmic insight, but I'm wondering if she went domination secondary, maybe for a taste of blood and ravenous or ultimate hunter.
Yeah, as somebody who mained Syndra to platinum this season, just because it is so. Okay, as a support main, it is abysmal to play as support solo queue until at least platinum, because that's when people start having a brain. And yes, this is including me. Like I did not have a brain until I moved to support.
I mean, you don't need a brain in top lane, like.
Yeah, no, like
me tank, me smash.
Me tank. Rrr. Yeah, no, so, like I know that. I made it to diamond in top lane. I haven't made it to diamond yet.
This is the danger zone for Maokai. He is not yet level 6, and Mordekaiser is. There's a huge CS lead, almost 30 CS on the board. But Maokai's just gonna have to live with that because he can't walk up to really challenge, because if he gets grabbed, he's probably going to get ulted and will probably die in the death round. He is now level 6. So he has a little bit of disengage, but...
And also, he needs to be using his saplings more for, both for thinning out these waves and getting them to reset, and also just for vision overall.
Yeah, if you're not going to use saplings on the wave, because admittedly, if you sapling the wave, it can make it hard to get good CS. All right, this should be an ulti.
Yeah, like here, this is an ulti time for.
Yep, there it is.
Yep, there it is. We don't just visually we don't see it, but we can see that they are a little bit more ghosty than normal.
And the ult does time out, so he doesn't get the soul, but that is a kill to Cephas. Effectively recognizing that, I got the grab.
Oh, Xerath is looking for a bit of damage. Actually, Ori went for Resolve. If you saw, she actually had the bone plating.
Oh, interesting.
Ooh, does get the stun onto the Kaisa. Kaisa has to flash and the cleanse. Kalista is still hopping forward to try to see what else she could do. Xerath is still looking in mid lane, does get a little bit more poke onto the Amumu and to the Orianna, does have to get out of there. Did have to flash, actually. And now everybody resets. We're like, okay, that was a lot of damage. Let's not do that again, everybody, okay?
That's a lot of damage. Cyanide did use the ult, so I'm guessing Shadow had flash to avoid one of the right of the arcane shots. And that's really, you see how much he chunked the Amumu there. That's one of the strengths of Xerath. In a sort of pure hypothetical burst combo, his damage is lower than other mages, but he's just got such incredible range that he ensures that people are never full health when the fight breaks out. And so he's keeping Ori poked down enough that she can't really walk up to try to use her superior burst against him.
Oh, and Maokai, he at this point I would be like, okay, Xerath, swap.
Oh, they're going for a gank here, and
oh no, he pushed him out of the knockup, and now Mordekaiser's looking for the beatdown on 2v1. Doesn't have his ultimate just yet, but is going to probably take out the captain.
Yep, hits the
Oh, he's
Yeah,
trying to
there's
run
the
away
flash.
as long as he can, but now Mordecai uses that flash and pounds him into the ground.
To be honest, I don't think Renegatus should have gone for the gank there. And I think it was a bit misplay because Cho didn't have ult. It was still on cooldown. Maokai did, but it was a good idea to gank while you knew that
Mordecai's ult was
didn't
down.
have his ult. But they needed to use the Maokai ult probably earlier, and they needed Cho's ult because with his shield and with his healing, Maokai is just not going to do enough damage to kill Mord, and you need that burst of true damage from Cho to really finish the job.
Ooh, does get the bubble. Oh, Terra just flashes straight in. Doesn't have cleanse or flash, but now is going to be using her ult to try to get away. But the rain from above of Xerath is going to get that. Mordekaiser is now trying to fight the Maokai. Failed the ultimate the first time, isn't able to quite get out of range, and is going down in the pit.
Shadow goes down to King Majora. This Callista
And now
is showing her
Callista is
strength
starting
in
to pop off.
Yeah, showing her strength in early skirmishes. When Callista is good, she just wins early skirmishes, and that's what she's one of the things where she's really strong. So they're going to take this dragon. That's an Earth Dragon for Renegatus, which I think is very good for them. You have 3 big frontline tanks. You've got the Maokai, who needs
And
all the
Tarek
defense
gives
he can get.
additional armor to whoever he's partnered to in Callista.
Yes, Tarek, you got Cho'Gath. So all of these characters are going to really appreciate that 6% extra AD and not AD and AP, armor and MR, and help them withstand the damage basically from the Mordekaiser, because the Mords got all the kills for Renegatus at this point. Can we see what dragon is up next?
It's Windrake.
Windrake, okay. See, that's really good for both teams because they all have a lot of big impact, high cooldown ultimates. Curse of the Sad Mummy, Realm of the Dead.
So I'm going to guess Infernal Drake. Because they're actually no.
I'm gonna go with Water Dragon. I'm gonna go Ocean.
You're gonna go Ocean? Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay. I'm wrong. That's okay. The reason why I say Infernal is because there's so much damage in this game and a lot of late game scaling.
True.
I would also say Ocean because there's also a lot of poke in the Xerath, the Kaisa, the Ori, technically Maokai.
Which would you prefer if you were each team? I think
I prefer Ocean.
I think I prefer Ocean on Renegatus' side, but I think I prefer Infernal on
Ooh, it's getting a lot of these good bindings or stuns onto the Ori, and does take her down. Looks like we're going to have to get at least another game, folks. They're trying to make this one work. But Amumu is already into this fight. Callista, and does get the knock-up. Amumu flashes and ults into there, and the Tark does not have his ultimate up quite yet.
They grab the Callista.
Is trying to get just a few more stacks and unfortunately misclicked a couple of times there. Randomonium is trying to help Cyanide, but Cyanide is way too in. He also burned the flash and doesn't get anything for it. He is going to go down. Randomonium, you have Conqueror. That is not a spell you want to have against this guy.
Yeah, Randomonium does well. They use the Rift Hill to secure the first dragon in mid, but then Cephas walks up. He grabs the just immediately ults the Xerath and gets the shutdown. So that's a big chunk of gold going to him. And I think that with the good kills in bot lane, that's really brought Bronze 5H back in this game. They're now even in gold. They're down a tower, but that actually favors them because if you think of it, towers are gold that you have yet to get. So there is one less tower worth of gold for
does
Renegatus
flash out of that. Good job from the Maokai.
Yeah, he had to flash there. He would have been most likely dead.
Oh no, he would have been. He would have been dead.
Whereas Bronze 5H still have the full set of towers to get gold from. see. First items are starting to come through. Kaisa has put off finishing boots for Essence Reaver, as opposed to the first game where Prophet went Manamune. I'm curious about why he chose to switch. In this game, Callisto's working on what I would assume is a Blade of the Ruined King.
I think it's because they have 3 damage dealers, so he doesn't have to scale as egregiously, so he can go for like a little bit more immediate damage. Since they have the Mordekaiser, who is beefy and is, respectfully far ahead against the Maokai.
Yes. Now Zeros got his Luden, so his poke is going to be even greater. Ori is still sitting on Lost Chapter, but she's probably getting close in terms of gold. And I think that they've made the right choice. They've sent Shadow Top to farm against the Maokai. Both of the champions are kind of behind. Neither is really positioned to kill the other, and so they're both comfortable just farming up and getting the gold there.
Yeah, Maokai. I think Maokai is seeing this more as a reprieve than the Orianna, I feel.
Yeah, she's gonna run out of mana before she can kill it.
Because Mordekaiser, he was beating down this Maokai. He has 3 deaths.
Yeah,
he's not having the best of times.
50 CS deficit. Like he really couldn't walk up to get farm. And so this is going to feel real good.
Yeah, now Xerath, while yes, he can stun the Mordekaiser, Mordekaiser can put him in the death realm and just say, no fighting, bring it.
Yep. I wonder what would happen if you ulted while the stun was in travel, if it would hit. Because
projectiles disappear. So it would actually...
You should be able to dodge the stun.
You would be able to dodge the stun.
I don't actually know if you could, though, because it's a 3/4 of a second cast time on Mordekaiser Ultimate, and at the range you would have to cast from, I don't think the stun would not hit that time.
Yeah.
So I think you'd still be stunned after going into that realm.
Did
bubble on the Callista.
Callista does ult, and Tarek immediately presses the ultimate to try to save Callista as Amumu was running down. Did see him, I think, with one little ward as he was passing by.
So Shadow's staring down a second Rift Herald, as Randomonium does secure the second.
Goose, you're low, my dude. Goose, you gotta get out of there.
He's just gonna drop the Nature's Grasp as a way to disengage. Randomonium should get.
Wait, Randomonium has Dark Harvest. He's going to look for it. He didn't get it. Orianna also flashed, but
no, he didn't have ult available, which he would have needed.
But I think he did get the Dark Harvest stack, which empowers his other keystones.
Yes, it does. Amumu does secure the dragon, so Wind Dragon, and it is Ocean Soul.
As I said, I was wrong.
So Bronze 5H does secure the air drag, which I think they will feel very good about with Tidal Wave, Command Shockwave, Curse of the Sad Mummy, and Realm of the Dead having noticeably reduced cooldowns. You especially feel around Mord because he's not a champion who itemizes into cooldown reduction very well, because he wants a lot of health and durability, and most of the mage CDR items either have mana or don't come with any health. And so he's left with things like Proto Belt, Spirit Visage, which do give him CDR, but like you tend to cap out at maybe 20% on Mord. And so having old CDR is really handy.
So as a question from one top lane to another, on Mordekaiser, I usually like to rush the Rylai's over the Liandry's just because I need to stick onto my guy. Do you agree with the Liandry's rush over the Rylai's to this Maokai?
I'm with you. The Liandry's is going to do more to kill the Maokai, but I prefer Relay's Rush for a couple of reasons. Mostly the utilities you said. My experience when the Mord rework was new was that once I had my first item, people usually didn't want to fight me anymore. And so if I had...
Nami takes a bunch of damage. Xerath can open up, but he doesn't know exactly how much she has as the ward did diminish. She's just going to run away back to base. Amumu is looking to come up here with some friends.
They're trying to bully this Maokai. They're not giving him any
it's like, no,
any breathing room.
Yeah, like you've already had 2 bad games. Let's make it a third.
Yeah.
Bronze 5H, stop bullying. Everybody report Bronze 5H for bully.
Report toxic. Ooh!
Oh my god, that's an open up. But now they're going to return back onto the Zera. Zera does get into range to make sure she can take it down. And Oriana is trying to keep everybody from going too far away. So with that, support for a mid laner, especially Xerath, I'll take that one.
Yeah, and I think Xerath may have still had a bounty from CS, so...
He did. He had a 300 gold bounty.
Who got the kill there? Did Prophet get the kill?
Yes, Prophet got the kill because...
huge Oriana ult.
And with the Taric ultimate, they are going to try to just... But Mordekaiser took him into the Death Realm, so he wasn't allowed to save his carry.
Yep, no Cosmic Radiance in the Death Realm. So that's a 5-0. Sifa's... the first game against the Gnar was a little rough. I mean, obviously wasn't really positioned to win the lane, but he had a phenomenal form from the Cho'Gath, and he's really putting Bronze 5H on his back now. He was the one that, when the other lanes were struggling, he was winning in top lane, brought the power to skirmishes, and now the rest of the team is also coming online.
Yeah, and he's won out against now 2 top laners.
Yes.
Both in carries and in tanks.
See, looking at itemization, Kai'Sa has a pickaxe, which I assume would be for Gwynsu's after Essence Reaver instead of the Nashor's Tooth. Callista is probably going for Runen's Hurricane here.
Runen's Hurricane? No, that's...
Zeal would be
Ginsu's.
No, Callista.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at Kai'Sa.
Yeah, Callista.
Kai'Sa's going for Hurricane, which is correct, yeah.
Yeah.
So while Ginsu's does allow you to get the double proc of your passive for the Ren stacks, it really doesn't add that much beneficial value for you.
Yeah. So looking at support itemization, the Nami's got the Ardent Sensor, makes a lot of sense. You've got an auto attack based carry debuff. I'm not sure I like the Taric build. He goes Swifties instead of Tank Boots or Mobies. And I think that Merc Treads would have been good here because, like, your Nightmare is getting CC'd and not being able to ult the Callista. And Swifties might help you dodge, but... and then he's building armor against a team with 4 magic damage dealers and a Kai'Sa who deals a fair amount of magic damage.
Yeah, so that's just your pre-programmed brain. I do it sometimes. Where you're like, okay, I got my Knight's Vow, I'm going for Zeke's, and we Gucci.
Well, but you've got 2 cloth armors, so you only need 1 for... No, you do need 2.
No, you need 2. You need 2.
Right,
one
yes.
For the glacial, 1 for the Aegis. Mordekaiser bringing him into the Death Realm once again. And it's like, I am going in.
He should be okay there. Yeah, the ult time's out. He's under tower, he doesn't want to chase too hard.
Oh, Taric actually flashed mistakenly to try to catch the Kai'Sa unawares. Callista still had enough Ren stacks.
Oh, man, that was a massive chunk of damage on the Psychopaths.
Ooh, does barely get stopped by the Amumu, but Amumu is going to pay for their sins now. Possibly. As Amumu still is looking to go in. We got a from the Cho'Gath, or from the Maokai, sorry. And with that, we do actually have a 1-team fight for Team Renegatus for 1 death in the Taric, for 3 on the side of Bronze 5H. So now
and it starts with them picking off Prophet. They're setting up some wards in red side jungle. Prophet's hanging around after taking red. Callista uses Fate's Call to ult Taric in, and that just that becomes a pick. And then without one of their major damage dealers gone, and the Mordecai, where did Mord die? Oh, he died in that big scrum. With one of their damage dealers gone, Bronze 5H just isn't positioned to win the fight.
And that was a 400 gold shutdown. I did not see who to, though.
Yeah.
Considering the bounty, I'm going to suggest Callista, but there were a lot of
I think she got the
deaths.
kill on Prophet.
Yeah, there were a lot of deaths in that one.
Yeah. Goose, I like his itemization. He's going straight for MR. And after adaptive, he's going... After Abyssal, he's going for adaptive. which is incredibly effective against Mord. If you're up against any kind of damage
Plus
over
the
time,
Merc Friends.
magic damage champ.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and since Kaisa is going for the CR AP on hit build, she, as of now, we don't know what her next item is going to be. She is looking to back soon though. It's 4.5 magic damage.
Yes.
For right now. So,
but I'd like to see him get some. He needs some armor after this. Sunfire.
just a little bit. Just
Yeah.
one item of armor, like a Thornmail would not be bad.
Yeah, Thornmail, Sunfire.
Sunfire. Hell, Righteous Glory.
Yeah, I wouldn't go Righteous Glory first because it's not that much armor. But...
Well, no, you do it for the engagement tool.
Yeah.
To go with Randomonium, so it's not the only one.
So
Mumu finding a way onto the back line. Didn't get the ultimate off, but a nice shockwave from the Orianna, but there's a lot of tanking from the side of Team Renegatus. Captain Goose is already down, and now with the Tarek ultimate to keep the Callista going, she's able to just pop everybody else, and now another one-team fight, this time the tank.
Yeah, they have a lot of AoE damage there, but with Mord in the Death Realm, I didn't see who he took. I thought it was King Majora, but it may have actually been the Maokai. They don't get their damage out fast enough and in enough concerted fashion to actually kill most of the tanks on the side of Team Renegatus. Cho'Gath has ultimate. I don't think you guys should be hanging around to try to interrupt this.
I think they're going to try it. Because there's always a disconnect. There can always be that disconnect. But with as many Ren stacks as he had, I think he had something close to probably 50 stacks.
Yeah, it did 1,200 damage there. So that is a Baron for Team Renegatus. And I think Game 1 was more even. Game 2 felt like it was very Bronze 5 Age controlled, but...
This game it's Team Renegatus, but there are still avenues for Bronze 5 Age to come back in.
Yeah, so there, let's see.
Mordekaiser is like, okay, who am I supposed to ult? Do I ult the Cho'Gath so they don't have that frontliner? Do I ult the Callista, but she now has a QSS, so you can't ult her? Do I ult the Xerath so they don't have this long-range artillery mage coming in on us?
I wonder if ulting the Tarek might be the play, because that would prevent them... That might prevent them from getting the ult off. Mord ult's a little janky. Soraka and Karthus ults do work in the Death Realm, even though they originally did not. The weirdest interaction I ever had was I got hit by an Urgot ult, took someone else into the Death Realm, and then got ground down across the Death Realm barrier. It was very weird, and I was not happy about it. But I think if it
Oh, jeez, there goes Prophet's health bar, and he's dying so fast. He's trying to escape. The last ultimate from the Xerath is going to take him out.
Cyanide Xerath is doing work here.
Yeah, so now with that, they're able to push in without the Kaisa. They don't really have a team fight that they can do reliably. It's only Mordekaiser, and that's not enough to stop this right now. Mordekaiser is into the fight, does get locked, does ult the Cho'Gath into the pit with him. But everybody else is starting to die with a Mumu getting his ultimate off, trying to survive with his aftershock. Mordekaiser doesn't have enough health remaining, and Cho'Gath noms him.
Yep, that's just they make a valiant defense, but they don't have enough damage with the Kaisa down. They get a big Oriole, a big Amumu ult, but they don't have the damage to finish off any of the tanky members. Callista has Bork and a Quickscope Sash, use, working on finishing the Mercurial Scimitar, so she's got a lot of sustain. And Xerath's just far enough away that he's not really in danger. He's got the Leandries and the Morellos. He's just got free reign to fire away with those Arcano pulses.
Probably going for a Void Staff now.
Yeah, I don't think he needs... He could go Zhonya's, but I'm not sure he needs it right now. Maybe it's the last item.
Yeah. Yeah, as a 6th item, I can see that. That or a Banshees.
Yeah.
To be able to have that opportunity to flash.
To be honest, I'd say Zhonya's because it will help more against Callista's damage, and it's more useful against Mord.
Nami ultimate just thrown out there.
Yeah, probably to check for vision, but they're going to secure the third dragon on Team Renegatus.
Yeah, there's a Cho'Gath with Smite. It is theirs.
Yes. I would like the Zanya more just because if you go into the Death Realm with Mord, Zanya's will eat up a good amount of its duration, and it's probably going to do more to help you survive that than advantage.
It's like, okay, all right, now they're looking to see, okay, how are we supposed to come back?
This is Maokai ult.
Maokai already kind of just used his ult all willy-nilly.
Yeah, that's going to end up off target. They probably need an Amumu into...
Amumu already jumping into the fray. Doesn't have flash just yet. The Mordekaiser does ult.
Oh, good ult on the Callista. She QSS's out. Or Amumu's trying to chase her down, but she's just dancing around.
Mordekaiser can no longer take on this Maokai. He just doesn't take damage. Oh, yeah. Maokai flash W onto down.
Big Cosmic Radiance.
Mordekaiser down, and now it's just Kai'Sa remaining. Kai'Sa got stunned up by a flash. And does outplay the Maokai for the Kai'Sa.
QSS and then flash, cleanses and then flashes out. But with 2 inhibs down, yeah, Renegatus are they're looking to end this.
Yeah, we're pushing it now to game 4. Team Renegatus is bringing it back, boys. Oh God, it's 11:30 and I fear the silver scrapes.
All right, so Team Renegatus is not going down quietly. They do struggle a bit in the top lane, I think, but really everywhere else, like they were pretty solidly in control, and they just they use good skirmishing. They managed to get the Maokai back into the game, and good Taric ults. Good peel to prevent their carries from being properly engaged on. And they take the game. Looking at game 4.
Alright. Pause it for just a couple minutes and we'll be right back, folks. Game 4 coming underway. Welcome back, everybody, to now Game 4 of Bronze 5 Age versus Renegatus. Bronze 5 Age took a commanding lead in 2-0 the first couple of games, and now Team Renegatus is trying to force us to go to Silver Scrapes. Can they do it, or will they fall? Bronze 5 Age took blue side in game number 4 as they had side selection. So with that, they will have control of the Cho'Gath in this game.
Which I find interesting because in all three of the previous champion selects, they prioritized them blue. First picking it both times they were on blue and taking the first rotation when they were red. But this time, they felt the Cho'Gath for their top laner was so important that they first pick it and don't actually select the Amumu in the first round. It gets banned in round 2. They do take Leona and Varus, a very strong, hard engaged bot lane. I'm assuming that's going to be a set jungle. I think Team Renegatus has gone all in on a protect the carry comp. You have a Callista, a Thresh to support her, what appears to be a Zillion mid, and then either Scion or Nautilus is in the jungle.
It's going to be a Nautilus jungle.
Yes.
Randomonium is very, very set that is a good jungler.
I really wish Nautilus was a good jungler. I loved Nautilus jungle when it was more viable. I really wish it was more of a thing. It's just, you struggle too much to farm and bring out early pressure. It's very much a pick that I find to be dependent on your lanes not losing in the early game. But Renegatus does have that setup. You've got Scion into Cho'Gath, a tank versus tank matchup that isn't really going to threaten either side after about level 5 or 6. You've got Zillion into Ziggs. Ziggs has a lot of poke, but Zillion is just a very safe mid laner, hard to engage on, hard to kill, hard to gank. And then Callista Thresh is a really strong bomb. So Nautilus doesn't necessarily need to worry so much about his lanes losing as he does trying to farm up and then just being a CC appeal machine. My only concern is that Bronze 5 Age, they have a lot of damage. Varus, lots of AoE damage. Cho'Gath, good damage for a tank set. Juggernaut, lots of damage. Ziggs, AoE damage. Zillion has good damage on the bombs when building AP, but he's only got one damage spell, which is the time bomb. And so if he misses that, Renegatus is really dependent on the Callista to be their damage. So they need to make sure that the Callista gets the head, or at least not behind, because otherwise they're just a bunch of tanks and a Zillion, and they're not going to have the damage to win fights even if people don't die.
Agreed. But let's go ahead and get on into. So let's see who's got it into them to win this game. Bronze 5 Age or Team Renegatus. Who do you believe, chat?
All right, so we got people heading out. Looking at the Runes of Masteries, we've got both the Grasp and the top lane. This is definitely a Grasp matchup. You're just two big beefy boys slapping each other, farming some HP out. Aftershock on the Nautilus, Conquer on the set, Comet and Airy in the mid lanes, which I think makes sense, and then Halo Blades for the Callista. King Majora rolled that last game, and Lethal Tempo for Prophet. So he is going to be going the on-hit Varus with Blade the Ruined King and Gwynsu's, as opposed to the Lethality Poke Varus, which is usually going to take Comet. No Ignite in either bot lane, and both AD carries again take Cleanse. I think it makes sense for, I'd say it makes sense for both. Leona has a lot of CC, very cleansable, and Nautilus's CC is less cleansable, but you could cleanse the bomb, cleanse the stun from the Scion ult. So I think these all make sense. Callista I find interesting because she's the only character I know of with a knockup that scales based on spell level. I think most other knockups are pretty much fixed, but hers does scale from 1 to 2 seconds based on level, but it doesn't do damage. See. Come on, give him. Yeah, there's the double grass proc. That's what we want to see.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
gonna
top
happen
lane.
a bunch this
Action.
top lane. Seth has actually decided to go with a Duran ring this time around.
He actually went Doran's Ring both previous games he played Shogun.
Oh, he did. I thought he went.
He did.
I thought he went Corrupting Potion.
No, I used to go D-Ring, but I found that with some of the changes to Doran's Ring not giving mana back on minion kill and now just giving more mana regen, that I felt like it didn't give me as much sustain as it used to.
Yeah,
But
they
it's
had
still
to do
fire.
that because of people going like triple Duran's ring.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, well, you now have health, AP, and insane mana regen without a blue buff.
Did you know that in the old lore, Duran was actually a person and he had his own lore? He was like a gifted smith who got kicked in the head by a donkey and was left like partially disabled. And so he only made like very simple items, even though they were powerful, but never like the really intricate magical items that he used to make. It's kind of weirdly dark.
So Cho'Gath is going to need to silence him whenever he because the Q does have just a little bit of a delay. Oh, Seth does get a pull onto the Callista. Callista gets hit by the snare onto the Leona and is able to lock him down. King Majora goes down.
Oni Nokin didn't even flash. He may have gotten the pull, but I don't think it was a stun. So I think King Majora panic cleansed.
Yeah.
And which actually led to his death because then Leona was free to flash Q Ignite, and there was just too much. Or no, not flash exhaust Q, and then just so much damage.
She didn't use flash. She used her E.
She EQ'd in. Yes, yeah, I see the flash on collab. Cho'Gath, he's getting locked up here, but not enough damage out of the top lane. Yeah, the issue Cho'Gath is going to face is that even if he cancels Scion's knockup, Decimating Smash, it actually goes on a reduced cooldown if it's canceled. So he's going to have it back up before any of the spells that Cho'Gath would use to cancel it. Let's see. See, even CS in the mid lane, even CS in the jungle. So I'm going to props to Randomonium for farming well. One of Nautilus' struggles is that he's not a very fast farmer, particularly before Bammy Cinder. He's a safe farmer because of his shield, but he's not very fast. And so keeping up with the set in farm is good, though set has Corpus Space kill. That's a good. That's actually a really good silence. And Goose does not have much mana, so he's forced to flash out. Look on the Leona.
Leona does get the snare out. Thresh already lost. He tried to get the stun, but he couldn't quite get it. But King Majora is going to be going down too.
Yep, that's the flash face breaker. Psychopez does trade his life for it, but I feel like considering that Set can be a bit of an awkward ganker, the fact that he's shown so much intention bot signals to me that Bronze 5H has made the call. They're like, we take out King Majora. If you're going to swing at the king, you better not miss. And they've had 2 hits so far.
And both of them landed on the Varus.
Yeah. So they're like, hey, we recognize that this is a major carry for Renegatus. We need to shut him down. And so 2 kills. Varus already has his Bilgewater Cutlass at a little under 6 minutes, working towards the Blade of the Ruined King. So he's in a very good position. He flashed there, but still has his cleanse available if he gets engaged on. You would know this as support main. If you cleanse a Thresh hook, can he still pull himself to you?
No, it also cleanses the hook itself.
Okay. Because I know that like if you Thresh hook someone who's got a Morgana Black Shield, it doesn't yank them, but you can still pull to them.
Yes. It cleanses the entire part of the.
Okay, so it's like it would be like a Sivir spell shield. It just negates it.
Yep.
Okay, so
the reason I know that is because it's the same for QSS.
Yes. So Bronze 5Age is playing around the dragon. They should have this. Nautilus is not yet back out on the field. He elected to get the Hunter's Machete instead of his boots. And I don't think they're going to contest. Yep, that's just a free dragon. And I think getting the Earth Drag again. Oh, that's a Cyanol. Some good damage, but Cho'Gath's ult is down. It's a slap fight. I think Cephas had to flash out there. He actually probably could have gotten the kill, but he would have died to Sion's zombie passive, Glory and Death. So he decides to take the safer option of neither of us dies. Plus, he now has mana sustain from his passive, and Sion doesn't. I do like the Earth Drag for him. Oh, Zillion's up here, but finds nothing. I think the Earth Drag is a good pickup for Bronze 5H, because with 3 big beefy boys on Renegatus, you definitely want to deny them that extra tankiness. The 8 minutes in.
Yeah, and as you were talking about how the Thresh versus Cleanse works, that's actually why I do enjoy Thresh into Morgana, because it still gives you that option to still, like, hey, do you want to go in still? Like, we can still do this.
My mind is telling me no, but the hook is telling me yes.
Yes, but the thing is, you can choose. You
Yes.
have the choice.
And Seth's hanging around bot lane. He's going for the alcove plays here. But I don't know if King Majora is going to walk up enough. They're kind of pressuring their tower.
They did let the wave bounce to the middle of the wave, or the middle of the lane, so they're calling Nautilus. It's like, hey, they're probably doing it again. He's probably down here.
Yeah, if your opponents suddenly change their behavior, if they are...
Leona does land her
big dunk!
Big boy! King Majora does get out the kill, and he does land the hook onto the Leona as well. And now they're going down onto the Varus as well. That's going to be triple kill. The king is not out yet.
Excuse me. Okay, I'm just dying a little bit.
It's okay. I'm doing
not
that
dead.
too.
Seth dunks in, but he doesn't manage to get the haymaker off in time before he dies under the tower. Leona's then hooked and flayed back into the tower. Majora picks up a second kill, and then Nautilus just flash autos Prophet. And I think Prophet had cleanse, but he either didn't use it in time, or maybe he recognized that against a red buff Callista, he was just dead to rights and chose to save it.
Mm-hmm.
There is unfortunately no dragon or other objective, but they do get a number of plates. Oh no, they don't get any plates. So 3 kills to King Majora, which is greatly needed gold, but they don't manage to convert it into an objective. Yeah, so this is kind of what top lane is going to become now. Both champs are running low on mana, but between Sunfire, they've got enough. They both got enough wave clear to control the wave. Sion, and they both have grasp, so they're not going to die. So there's just a lot of slap fighting, wave clearing current. I think the hook hit a minion there. That's awkward.
That's okay. You can still go in on that.
It's one of those Secret Service minion things where you've got like the skill shot lined up, and then the minion's like, "Get down, Mr. President!" and just throws itself in the way.
And it just immediately teleports in front of you.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
I've had that happen so many times.
On my Alawi grabs, I'll just be like, "Aha! I'm gonna predict where he's moving," and the minion is like, "No!"
Like, I'll counter your prediction.
Ugh. Truly, minions outsmart us all every day. So Nautilus is actually ahead of the set here. He's got 15 CS lead. He's finished his Cinderhulk, which Set hasn't. And I'd argue Cinderhulk is a bigger spike for Nautilus than it is for Set. It gives Nautilus tremendously good clear compared to his base clear. It gives him a lot of health on a champion whose shield scales off max health. Whereas with Set, it increases his grit cap a little bit. But Nautilus also has an easier time proccing the extra damage. So I think that Nautilus is in a position of power here, and I want to see... Oh, he's going to bot lane. That's what he's doing here, which I think makes sense. I mean, I think that makes sense. Bot lane is really the point of focus for both junglers, because Top lane's a tank fest. No one's dying there.
Ooh, nice hook.
Dicey
Those
hook.
are the hooks that we all know. Leona needed to flash that second one, but is unable to get away. Does throw her ultimate to try to maybe stun them up. Shadow is getting chased down by this Zillion.
Forced to flash from the scary clock man. Yeah, I think playing around bot lane makes sense. That is a water drag to Team Renegatus. A little extra sustain for their beefy boys. And it is a Cloud Soul.
Oh god. 30% CD for Zillion ult.
AP Zillion ult is so nasty because it basically just full heals.
It's full heal. It's not like a support Zillion. Like, so there was back in EULCS, I think it was Kasing on Splice. No, not Splice. Some team that he was on. I can't remember. They would run Zillion either support or for mid lane, so you never know which one you're going to get. And the casters were always like, the support Zillion is like, okay, you have the option to still counterpick for your mid laner, but the Zillion ultimate is just almost non-existent.
Yeah, support Zillion ultimate is more like a GA where it brings you back with enough health that you can like escape the fight and maybe like take a shot or two on the way out.
Maybe even turn a fight
if it's very low. AP Zillion ultimate is a new life.
Yeah.
At least on a carry. On a tank, it's more like, all right, I'm gonna have help. So it's currently 5-2, but the gold is in favor of Bronze 5-8 because they do use the Rift Herald that Seth picked up to secure first tower, and they get all of the plating there. It's split among
plus there is a CS gap for most of the lanes.
Yes, particularly in top, where given that Sion has such good wave clear, Cephas has done a really good job of maintaining his CS lead.
Yeah, he's really, like, as somebody who used to be a top lane, he's done a really good job, like, absorbing pressure when it does show up.
Yeah, he's been the anchor his team needs, and even though they didn't win in the previous game, he was having a very strong performance on the Mordekaiser.
Mm-hmm.
So both carries have completed their first items. Both the Blade of the Ruin King. Callista has finished her boots, but Varus has chosen to get a recurve bow, I would assume for Gwynsu's, before finishing the boot. So he's got a little more attack speed, but she's got more movement speed. We've got what looks like a locket coming out for the Leona. Thresh has Mobies into the Knight's Vow, it looks like. Would you, not Mobies, Swifties. Would you go Swifties on Thresh?
No. So on Thresh, like, you would either go the mobility boots because you need to constantly be roaming looking for these picks, as that is your champion, or you go for like Merc Trends because you have to deal with all the CC. So you're going to be the front line. You might as well have something to get through that.
Yeah, when I play Thresh, I admit I'm not much of a roamer, so I usually go for the tank boots because I'm like, I need to front line. I feel like even if you wanted to like be like, all right, I'm gonna style on these people and be dope and just like channel your mad life, you'd go with maybe like CDR boots, but
yeah. So the idea behind mobility boots on supports is that not just that you're roaming around a lot, but when it's early game, at least back when it was this patch still, you would buy your mobility boots, and as you're going back to lane, as your carry is walking back to lane, you're walking super duper faster than your carry,
and
so you can run some. So you can lantern them to the lane faster, or you can just take a trip down mid lane and just be like, oh, hi, I'm here now.
How is mobility boots countered by carries who don't take the lantern?
I'm sorry?
But wouldn't mobility boots be countered by carries who don't take the lantern?
Yes.
I gank in the mid lane.
I cry every time that they don't use it. That bomb is going to get him. Yep. And that was a small shutdown. He got 400 gold off of that.
Yep, looks like that was just a CS shutdown. But Zilean does have his slightly magical boots, his free-ass boots, as the casters would put it. And they're posturing for drag here, and they should have control with Ziggs being dead for 15 more seconds, and not even having ult. He has TP, but if he had ult, he could try to TP in and then ult into the pit. But but
we do got a Cho'Gath coming in. It's not Ziggs because he's still dead. Doesn't get out there, but Kalista does take it with the red, and now we got a team fight on our hands.
Sion's coming in.
Take the Zilean away from the team so he couldn't ult anybody, but Sion is going to get a large amount of damage. Carry.
Huge damage from the Sion ult. Alright,
and now Zephys did take out, I believe that was the Thresh? I can't confirm.
Yeah, so 2 dead for Renegatus, 2 dead for Bronze 5H, about to be a 3rd. Cho is not going to be able to escape this.
Yeah, that was a 4v5 technically.
Ziggs was not there yet.
Ziggs was still just coming back up. He actually didn't even teleport. He just walked back to that fight.
So good thing is that Varus did get a kill and had a very good ultimate off. Bad news is Kalista picked up, I think, 2 kills and the dragon. So 10% CDR. They're both teams are gonna, I think, get 1 tower here. I would call it that I think that there was a misplay there from Cho'Gath. He saw the Sion ult coming in.
Oh no! The double.
You done, son.
And now Nautilus is trying to get in range for the ultimate, but he just can't quite make it. Zilean is trying to slow him down with what he can, but he cannot reach it. Oh, but he goes for the double bomb and he gets it! Leona is now going to be tanking it for their sins. Nautilus is unable to get another hook onto her to pull her back. And I just realized they have double hooks on their team, and that is disgusting.
Yep, and then with Sion following up, their CC lock is very, very strong. But yeah, I think in that fight on Dragon, Cephas needed to body block the Sion ult. He saw it coming in, he's full health, and he's got a good amount of armor, so he's not going to die to it. But he lets it slip past him, and both Prophet and Psychopath lose probably 30% of their health to the Sion ult, even though it hits the wall. It doesn't CC them directly. Sometimes when you're a tank, you need to
trying to finish it, and they just barely get it in time. Now Set is
hook on Set,
and he is going down, but he's going to get his ultimate off first, and he gets a huge amount of damage. Zilean ult the Kalista
goes into the
back to full.
The Chrono Shift
does take down the Thresh, and now they're trying to fight back in full retreat mode. Cho'Gath is going to go down, and he's not going to be able to get the Kalista in time. Sion is trying to run down the Ziggs. Ziggs walks back into them.
I think he was trying to dodge the bomb there, but in the end, he still goes down. So yeah, so King Majora has probably like 1,200 health there. I saw the Zilean ult healed him for 1176. So basically, his full health bar.
Eek.
So even though they get a pretty good,
plus he has a little bit of shield from the area as well because of the heal.
It's not considered a heal actually. It doesn't apply summon area.
Then it must have been the speed up because he did get a little bit of a
true. Yes, I believe the speed up will apply the shield from summon area.
Yes, it does.
That's always the awkward thing for Zilean is that it's technically not a heal. He doesn't use Comet very well, and he can't use Electrocute very well, so he doesn't have like a good damage keystone. But you usually will see Airy because it's guaranteed poke.
Yeah, especially with the bombs.
So it's 15-6.
Stop it, Sleepy Tiger. Stop it. I want to go to bed. Please don't let this be a game 5.
It's 15-6 in favor of Team Renegatus, but they don't have a huge gold lead, only about 1,000. They do have an advantage on dragons, and a lot of their carries have important kills. But
Set, you're a little too close for that, bud.
Yeah, and you're not tanky enough. Like you have Cinderhulk and a Phage. You're not really that tanky, and you don't have any armor. You've got Merc Shred.
Varus
So.
did go on hit, so he will be able to shred these tanks if he is able to get those autos off. But Nautilus is able to just press his R, and then Varus has to walk away.
Posturing around the dragon, they're trying to get their poke out, but looks like basically everything's falling short.
Thresh is looking for him in the pit. You can't see him in there.
Let's see. Good Varus.
Everybody's just kind of poking around, seeing what. Renegatus does have an Ocean Drake, so technically they are in a better of a situation. But there's a big wave building up in the mid wave, and same for the bot wave. For Renegatus. Oh, Renegatus does hit on Leona. They think, okay, maybe not this one, maybe not this one. We're good, we chill. Alright. Leona's half health, so we can secure this. Bronze 5A just making the call. Okay, we need to get the mid and bot waves.
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna be.
Renegatus isn't reacting to that. They're actually taking the blue buff, where they actually had a prime opportunity. Cho'Gath is already just walking up.
Leona gets hooked, but this should be it. Yeah, they're both purple. It's a little hard to tell. But
yeah, they're both way too purple. Ooh, and Scion actually ended up getting it. Both Ziggs and Leona did try to throw out their respective ultimates, and you hate to see it as a Thresh player. Nobody grabbed the lantern. Kalista tried to, but Thresh
they should make an eternal for how many lanterns you throw into your allies that they don't take.
That is going to be in set 2. I can guarantee it. How many people had the potential to click the lantern and did not?
What's worse though is when someone sits on the lantern, so you can't click it.
Oh, so that you just zoom in.
Yeah, no, I've done that, but sometimes, I've had games where the Skarner's just too thick. He's too bootylicious.
Pro players can't do it either. Uzi knows.
Yeah. So
the Golden Road stopped by a fucking lantern.
Oh yeah, what team was it? They just bought a bunch of controllers.
That was G2.
Yeah, they just bought controllers to drop on the lantern.
Yep.
And
they just threw like 50 wards at one point. There's a montage of Western fans at Worlds 2018, and that was what made into the clip. It's like who should win? Literally the best team in the world, or some wardy boys.
Yeah. So looking at itemization, Nautilus has his Warmogs. Seth does not yet have his Cleaver, so he doesn't have the tank shred that he would really be looking for. I see a lot of anti-heal coming out on both sides. Thornmail already on the Cho'Gath. Leona appears to be working towards it. Thresh has Bramble Vest, Scion has Bramble Vest, because both teams' AD carries are those on-hit life stealers where you're going to want that anti-heal, you're going to want that damage reflect. So I think that all makes sense. And another Vamp Scepter on the Kalista. I would assume this is for Mercurial Scimitar, and just didn't have enough gold for not enough gold for the
does hit the set, but he doesn't have Aftershock now. He's going to have to wait about 25-ish seconds now.
I think it's a little less. It's lower cooldown this season.
Again, this is last patch, so I don't remember if it got.
Yeah. Well, it is dependent on level, and he's going to be a little lower.
Yeah, it's 2025 right now, so.
Yeah. The only thing I'm a little surprised by is the relays on Zillion, because I feel like the bomb tends to do its best work before it goes off with stun. Like, you're not consistently applying damage to something.
Yeah, so I would rather that be like a Rabadon, just pure utter damage.
Yeah, or something like, if you wanted killing potential, Morello.
Oh wait, hold up, Leona a little bit caught out here. Does have her W to keep her tanky and the Aftershock proc already. Captain Goose is going down. Prophet does actually take out Captain Goose and the Nautilus. Now he's able to free run into this team fight. A little bit low on health.
I think Uncle's alone time
back in. Nautilus.
Yeah.
Oh, but the Zillion does get the double bomb onto the Varus, and he doesn't live. Now, Zillion is looking to come back into this team fight with the Kalista. Kalista is running a little bit low from what I remember. She's been off screen for a while, so
Yeah,
I don't
she
know where her health bar is.
she received the Zillion ult. Shout out my man, Bo Boom.
Oh no!
Yeah, so she's lifesteal back to full
Big
anyway.
boom. Big
She
boom.
you can't just counter all my mechanics with a bomb. Haha, bomb go boom.
Big bum. Big
So that was a pretty confused team fight. So Leona gets caught. She interrupts Scion in the midst of decimating Smash, and Varus ults him, and with all his percent damage, he just shreds the Scion down. Set ults in the back line, but the Zillion ult means that they don't finish off Callista. I don't think it proc.
And
I think they.
I think this is going to come down to whether or not Oninoken actually gets like the big boy ultimate for either Scion or Nautilus.
Yeah.
Like,
does he get a good ult?
Because that's going to be a huge ultimate. Leona's going to be able to walk away. She's fine.
Forced to burn her own ult, but it has no real cooldown, so.
Yeah, it's a 60-second cooldown with only 10% CDR. That is nothing.
Yeah.
And on such a great engagement ultimate, like, if there was anything that they were to nerf of Leona,
it should be the
it would be either the
how
W.
short that cooldown.
It would be either the W, because that's a lot of tanky stats, but they're looking for a fight without Leona.
Set's going in.
Set's going in.
He's got the Nautilus. By God, that killed him.
And there it goes. It just
God is my witness.
Everybody.
They are broken in half. That is the beefy boy. Nautilus just exploded through our table. That is the big boy ultimate you were talking about right there. And they lose the Leona, but props to Oninoken. Nautilus is out front. He's like, all right, well, I'll just grab this astronaut, yeet him into their team.
And then Nautilus is like, oh no. And then the rest of his team goes, oh.
Oh no.
And before they could even finish, they're already.
Yeah, and it's followed up by the Cho'Gath knockup. So even though Cyanide does get the ultimate off onto Callista, he's dead basically as soon as the combo finishes. And by the time Callista revives, the only one still around is Scion, the zombie.
Yeah, and that's nothing in the face of a god like Set ulting a Cho'Gath or Nautilus or Scion.
So that has really swung things back in the favor of Bronze 5 Age.
Yeah,
they pick up the Cloud Drake, pick up Baron. That is you've still got an extremely fed a 717 Zillion, who's working on Leandries, but I don't know. I don't think of Zillion when I think of tank killers.
Production staff, can we get a damage recap of that fight?
Do we have that?
We do not have that capability.
All right, ult out of Varus, but it looks like it wears off. Scion does have Merc Treads, so they're not really in a position to follow up yet.
Yeah, and everybody else got out of range for the chains to not continue.
Cho is pushing in bot lane. Zillion just doesn't have the wave clear against the Baron buff team to really slow him down.
Varus actually recognizes there's a lot of magic damage. I will buy a Hex Drinker, lest I get poked out again.
I think the Hex Drinker is good because the magic damage he's scared about is a Zillion Bomb, which is a big burst, which is what Hex Drinker is good at. I don't know what the pickaxe would be for, because it's not Maw, because Maw is Caulfield's Warhammer.
Yeah, like I mean, it could be just raw stats, because you're maybe trying to look for that ending play. Ooh,
big haymaker.
Callista is almost dead. She has to back into the base.
If she's working on it is a Bloodthirster, not a Mercurial Scimitar for Callista.
Now see that I do not agree with that. I think that Merc would have been better.
Yeah, like it helps you avoid getting caught by the Leona ult, like. So
or
Bronze 5 Age
out of the Leona ult.
Yeah, or out of the Set ult if you get grabbed.
Yes, but you would have to flash as well. But
not depending on when you cleanse. It deals damage to the impact point, so if you cleanse right at the beginning, you won't be in the impact point and take damage. It doesn't deal damage to the person you grab until you arrive. Cho'Gath gets grabbed.
Fight. Cho gets grabbed, and they're doing a lot of damage. Ziggs dropping his ultimate.
Set's going in.
5 sets. Dropping people. We going in. Captain Goose down. Uncle's Long Time down.
Prophet's just free hitting. Leona is going to fall to the Scion passive. Cho'Gath is going to fall, but...
and Zillion is the only man remaining.
And I don't think he's going to have the wave clears. Ziggs is out of mana, and their carry are low on health.
Varus still is the attack speed, so that's... I think that this is going to be it. Game 4 is looking to be at an end, but they're still holding on for dear life. Zillion is trying to survive just long enough because Randomonium is coming up.
He's bought
just
enough
a couple
time.
of seconds. He bought enough time.
Randomonium
he has full mana, so now he's just got to
not but he is getting critted.
He did actually proc his ultimate just in case, but he didn't drop. He lived with like single-digit HP, I want to guess.
At most 50 health. So it's going to be some frenzied PvE now from Team Renegatus. Callista's finished her Bloodthirster, working on some other form of attack speed item, maybe Phantom Dancer. Ziggs is working on his Death Cap. Zillion is 9-1, but I feel like I might have. I agree. I would have preferred to see a Death Cap by now. Like Relays Leandries, that's much more of a I'm a sustain damage mage. Like that's like a Cassiopeia, maybe a Rise type thing, where you're trying to like shred your front lines, and you're just looking at
Malzahar. That's pretty
Malzahar.
That's a core Malzahar build now. But yeah, that's like more sustained damage. You have 2 sources of damage, and one of them is an auto attack.
Yep. This is a very fast Cho'Gath. He has Righteous Glory and Dead Man's, now itemizing into a little more MR. But he's got so much raw health that he's not really in danger of Zillion killing him. It was Infinity Edge for Varus. He's still sitting on the Hex Drinker. We'll finish that. If the game goes long enough.
The double fake ward.
You hate to see it.
And they already have one there, so it's not like they're going to just drop push either.
Imagine if you could pick up your pink wards.
For those of you who don't remember, so you know how you can press the B button to go back?
Mm-hmm.
Well, for a time, back in season 1 and preseason, that wasn't an option.
It was an item you had to buy. We got a team fight here.
We got a team fight here. Thresh is a little caught out. Does have to flash over. Does take up the Zillion ultimate. And Set does rock the team with taking out the Nautilus. Now Cho'Gath is going on and is trying to get Thresh. Thresh does go down to the knockup. And it does look like this is going to be a wash on the side of Bronze 5 Age to Renegatus.
Yeah, Zillion's going to have to run back to save
into the base there.
Zillion's got to run back to save the Nexus. I'm not even sure if he can against 2 waves of supers. So
yeah, Cho'Gath has TP, so he's just TPing in, and he's ending this.
So that
series 3-1 Bronze 5 Age.
They are your Demacian Finals champions.
Demacian? This is a Noxian.
This is Noxian, yes. They are your returning Noxian champions. So that means, I believe it's Alston. Though, admittedly, Alston did not play this. Prophet. Prophet is a 3-season champion in the Casual Esports Amateur League. So, really well played from both teams. Lots and lots of team fight heavy compositions, great CC chains, good reverses, good objective fights. But I think that there were a few misplays on both sides in the last game, but I think that the really good fight around Dragon for Bronze 5 Age really tilted things back in their favor when it seemed like Team Renegatus was kind of controlling it. And they suffered the issue that you tend to see, I think, with Zillion protect the carry comps, which is just lack of sustained damage. You've got Callista, but she's got 2 lifesteal items, and Zillion, his bomb chunk people, but unless his bomb is either killing someone or locking them down for a CC chain.
Yeah, they needed to get a 3rd carry into that comp, and then they would have, I think, would have been fine.
I wouldn't have mind seeing the Vlad top again. Because, I mean, a Vlad with the Zillion ult is like, alright, well, I guess we just give up now. But congratulations to Bronze 5H. Team Renegatus did very well. They will be 2nd place this season and receive some nifty prizes as well.
Yeah, so check out next season, and we do have one finals from season 2 to wrap up. I believe we are going to be doing it sometime later this week for the Piltover division, which is the 3rd highest division that we have. So look out for that in the announcements, and thank you for everybody watching. We will see you again next time.
See you next time.